Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Other Castle.
We're back, bitch!
Yes, we are with Season 11.
That's so many.
I know, right? We're already at Season 11?
We have quite the back catalog of episodes where we cover the plot, lore, and more behind all your favorite video games.
If this is your first time listening, you can check us out at our website, theothercastlepodcast.com.
That's theothercastlepodcast.com.
Over there, you can find links to all sorts of things like every single episode of our show. You can find our Instagram, our Discord, our item shop, as well as our Patreon.
Our Patreon's different.
Because now on our Patreon, it is as low as $2 a month. You can get up to 2 extra shows over on our Patreon that air every single month.
Ooh, what are the other shows?
So we have The Other Castle side quests where we cover DLCs, histories, movie nights, all sorts of fun stuff.
And that's all at the $2 level.
And then at the $5 and above level, we have The Other Castle Plays Around, which is more of a casual show where we get a little bit more honest about everything.
What does that even fucking mean? That's such a weird way to... It's a yapper episode. You get to know us. We're a little more indulgent.
Well, stay tuned at the end of the episode for a little preview.
Oh, shit.
Anyway, so over here, like you said, we were covering the plot, lore, and more of video games, and this week we are covering Mafia, the Old Country.
The Old Country. Oh, I'm so excited. This is the first Mafia game I've played, which is bad on my part. I should have been playing these. I don't know what stopped me.
Oh, did you enjoy this one?
I had a good time.
Okay, good.
So Mafia the Old Country is the 4th main series game in the Mafia franchise and is the first new installation since 2016's Mafia 3. So it's been a really long time.
Oh, wow. So we've been waiting a minute for this game.
Absolutely. The Mafia games kicked off with 2002's Mafia, originally for the PS2, Xbox, and PC. The first one kicks off in Lost Haven, aka legally not Chicago, in the 1930s last leg era of Prohibition. This game was originally titled Gangster, but was more aligned with being a driving and racing game, so they were like, that's not fucking cool. They're not gonna buy that shit.
Oh, okay, so it's probably like a competitor to the GTA series.
Reasonably so, yeah. This was done by a studio called Illusion Softworks, which was eventually bought out by Take-Two and became 2K Czech, like Czech Republic Czech. Naturally, movies like The Godfather and Goodfellas were major inspirations, and the driving game evolved into a whole-ass third-person adventure through the world of the American-Italian Mafia. The first game follows Tommy Angelo, a taxi driver who gets entangled with the mob. Mafia 1 got fantastic ratings across the board, a 9 out of 10 on average from most reviewers. Almost immediately after Mafia was a hit, work on Mafia 2 began with writing a script. This was the same team, formerly Illusion Softworks, and now, by this point, they had officially become 2K Czech. The original aim was to release Mafia 2 on PS2 and Xbox, just like Mafia 1, but times caught up with the team, and they ended up having to refocus to PS3 and Xbox 360. The game was under wraps in production until 2007, when the first trailer announced it was coming. To further date this, the second trailer for Mafia 2 came during the 2008 Spike Video Game Awards.
God, I did not realize that this series has been around that long.
Girl, right? Mafia 2 takes place in Empire Bay, aka legally not New York City, in the late 1940s and going into the early 1950s, and follows Vito Scaletta, who gets himself into trouble. He ends up joining the army for some time to avoid prison, but ends up going back in prison on some counterfeit bullshit. While he's doing time, he makes friends with an extremely well-connected man named Leo Galante, and he helps get his sentence time reduced. This will probably be important later.
Okay, good. So this is probably not foreshadowing.
Totally not.
Okay.
He gets out and just keeps getting himself into shit. Mafia 2 ended up coming out in 2010, a full 8 years after the first game. It got really positive reviews, but was a bit softer than the first Mafia, which was really good. This one just kind of got 8 out of 10s across the board. There was some drama with Mafia 2. A significant amount of content was cut from the game before it was released, and some of the cut content ended up in later DLC story missions. And this was confusing for some fans, but honestly, shit happens, and this was so early internet, it really didn't turn into the cultural shitstorm it would have been today.
It's just wild, because it seems like they're kind of half-assing this series, because it's just taking so long in between entries. They're like, yeah, it was a moderate success, so we'll put some moderate time into it.
We'll get back to it, it's whatever. Separately, when Mafia 2 came out, a member of the European Parliament, Sonia Alfano, called for the game to be banned because of the organized crime themes of the game. Take-Two Interactive very quickly was like, shut up. That's how things work.
Right.
Don't be like this. Mafia 2 did pretty well, so soon after, 2K Czech hit the ground on Mafia 3. By 2011, there was a significant industry rumor that Mafia 3 was in pre-production and they kind of had to start addressing it. And this is where some of the corporate drama started. So in 2014, Take-Two Interactive, which owns 2K Czech, opened a new studio called Hangar 13 in San Francisco. With that, they decided to close 2K Czech and send 10 of the 2K Czech team members to San Francisco to work on Mafia 3 and join the Hangar 13 team. The merger of the companies was a several years project, and many of the 2K Czech team members that were not selected to stay on ended up at Warhorse Studios, which made the Kingdom Come games.
Damn, okay.
Mafia 3 came out in 2016 for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. This one has to do with Lincoln Clay, a Vietnam vet in the late 1960s in New Bordeaux, aka legally not New Orleans, and he gets all kind of mixed up with the Mafia. And this one got the weakest scores overall, hovering at around a 6 out of 10 from reviewers.
Oof.
After the mild bummer that was Mafia 3, the teamer at Hangar 13 was broken into two groups. One group worked on doing DLC for Mafia 3, and the other group was focused on the soon-to-become Mafia 4. There were reports that this next one would be based in 1970s in Las Vegas, and as a fan, I would like to say, yes, please, that would be so fucking cool.
Oh my god, please give us a Vegas version.
Needless to say, the Las Vegas-themed Mafia 4 never came to fruition.
Damn it.
I mean, obviously, Tom, we're in the future. Instead, everyone kind of farted around for a few years. In 2020, 2K came forward and announced they would be releasing Mafia, the Definitive Edition, a remake of the first and a remaster of the second and third games all tied together. There were some quality of life changes and some story updates, but for the most part, it was a fantastic repackage of those games. This whole thing averaged about an 8 out of 10 from reviewers, which does kind of average out a lot of the original sentiment as the trilogy was released, so it makes sense.
That seems to be their bread and butter, is that 8 out of 10.
Yeah. The Definitive Edition was released in 2020 and sold 2 million units in its first few months of release.
Well, damn.
Yeah. In 2022, Hangar 13 let it slip that they would be working on a fourth original Mafia game and hinted that the next one would go back to the franchise's roots. At the 2024 Gamescom conference, Hangar 13 released the first bit of footage from Mafia: The Old Country. This one takes place near the turn of the 20th century in Sicily, aka legally Sicily.
So wait, this one's gonna be the real place.
Yeah, everything else is like Empire Bay is New York, and they're like, this is just in fucking Sicily. This one does take place in a fictional town called San Celeste, a village at the base of a volcano. But overall, they're like, it's fucking Sicily. You got this.
At the base of a volcano?
Yeah. The game was released a few weeks ago as of this recording on August 8th, 2025 for PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. And this one got like a 6-7 out of 10 from reviewers.
Okay.
And this is a relatively new game for us. I'm recording this just a few weeks after the game came out. And the first report I saw was that over 800,000 units sold in the first 4 days.
Not bad.
As we look at the other games, Mafia 1 is around a few million copies, and then Mafia 2 and 3 are both at around 7 million. It's tricky to track with the Definitive Edition also adding to this, but they're very fair numbers to start with. This game also features a Sicilian language dub purely for authenticity, which is a huge commitment to the bit.
Oh, damn. Yeah, that's like Ghost of Tsushima shit.
Now, like I mentioned, I haven't played any of the other Mafia games, but if you want to hear those get covered on the show, let me know in the comments of wherever you're listening to this or on our Discord, which is linked wherever you're listening to this.
Yep.
I do love stories in the world of the Mafia. Every year for Christmas, my dad would put on the Godfather movies back to back, and we would watch those all day. We'd watch a lot of those old school gangster movies, like Goodfellas when I was a kid, and I always thought they were so fucking cool. Like, I guess you could say, as far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Oh, goodness. They are family movies, after all.
This is Mafia: The Old Country. We're in Sicily, and it's 1904. There's two men navigating a sulfur mine. They're wearing tattered clothes and are dirty from a full day of manual labor. Gattiano has a full head of thick, curly hair. He's a little playful, a little fun, especially compared to his more solemn counterpart, 17-year-old Enzo Favara. Enzo's hair is buzzed short, and he's mostly quiet and looks over his shoulder constantly to see if they're being followed. Gattiano soothes him, telling him that They just need to run in and grab it and go. Enzo's worried whatever it is may be buried. The mines have been experiencing tremors and gas leaks lately, so he's nervous to go into unpopulated areas. Gatiano says if it is buried, he's going to dig it out, so it's got to be something important. The boys come up on some rubble. They dig a bit, and Enzo finds and pulls out a cigar box full of money. Gatiano looks at it all and says they're nearly there, nearly able to have enough money to leave this place. Gatiano and Enzo are carusi, which was a Sicilian practice from the mid-1800s to the early 1900s of having young men work in the mine as, like, mine boys. There is discourse on if this was a practice of indentured servitude or a true slave trade, as the labor is exploited to an extreme extent, especially on miners that are minors. But that's not why we're here today.
Well, the children do crave the mine.
These ones didn't seem to enjoy it, Tom. I'm just going to say it is a fucked up labor practice and a crime on humanity, but the details are far from where I am.
Right.
Enzo is here because his father sold him to a mine for 100 lira, which is around $547 in today's money, to the best of my knowledge.
Getting sold by your parents, though, fuck.
For $500.
Right, you know your price?
It is fucked up that he knows how much he was sold for.
How much he was worth to his dad?
Enzo's been stuck in this mine for a while and is good friends with Gatiano, who's also trapped here under some similar circumstances. They've been saving up so they can escape and start fresh lives outside. This money was almost lost in the mines, but they got it back. The box had a few more childhood treasures, too. One of which is Enzo's small wooden carved horse toy. It's one of the last bits of his childhood, and his name is carved in its belly. It's just one last thing from his life before the mines that he still has. He holds it, and then drops it in the rubble, leaving it behind.
Oof. And like back then, you only got one toy.
Barely, yeah. Gatiano's eyes light up as he pulls out a postcard from a place across the ocean in America called Empire Bay. They start to head back to the base camp when they have a run-in with Il Merlo, a sadistic labor enforcer. They watch him choke a man out, and Enzo intervenes.
Oh.
Enzo picks up the last bit of the man's shift while Il Merlo comes up to Enzo, leans in and tells him, "Stick your nose where it does not belong, and you just might lose it." Il Merlo leaves, screaming at the mine boys, while Enzo and Gatiano wrap up the other man's work area. After they're all done, they head for food, but they're too late for the day. Gatiano makes Enzo sneak into the supply area to steal dinner for them. While Enzo is snatching food, he finds a knife and pockets it. It becomes essential to gameplay throughout the game, so this is a very smart pull on his end.
A literal pocket knife.
Yeah. Enzo makes it out with a loaf of bread for he and Gatiano to split. They head back to their shared dorm tent, and Gatiano asks Enzo to read his postcard out loud for him. Enzo takes the postcard and reads that his uncle has washed up in America, and this time, he's staying. His uncle asks him to write, or better yet, come out to America. He promises steak and eggs for breakfast. It's just so American. I love that.
That is a good breakfast, though.
Gatiano says once he's paid himself off, he's on the first boat to America. Enzo doesn't know exactly where he's going, but it'll be far away from this place. He says he's never coming back. Those bastards would have to kill him first. This daydream sesh is interrupted by the dickbags enslaving children. A big gruff guy named Ignazio storms in and says everyone's working a double today. Spadaro's orders. Everyone gets up and walks out the door. Gatiano is sure to have his money on him to avoid it getting stolen while he's in the mines. Outside, Il Merlo is once again berating someone who is a victim to several human rights violations.
Oh.
He's yelling to get back to work or get out of the way for people who can work. The miner yells, he's like, "Man, there's a fucking gas leak in there. We're all gonna die." A whole ass team is down there and they're missing and we haven't seen them for a while. We can't send everyone in or have it like explode. We're all gonna fucking die.
They did not have OSHA back then.
No, not in turn of the century Sicily.
Nobody was OSHA 30 certified.
You're so fucking grown, Jesus. A fancy man in an all green velvet suit comes in. He's Don Spadaro, a Mafia Don who oversees this human rights violation. He walks right up to Il Merlo in full view of all the miners and asks, "Who is wasting my fucking time?"
Oh my god.
A buzz-cut, gruff goon named Lombra tells him that the workers won't dig. The miner once again explains, "Hey man, there's a fucking gas leak down there, and I'm missing a whole team of people, probably because of the gas leak.
Right.
He also mentions that they've had a lot of tremors lately, and this mine dig site is at the feet of a volcano. Like, literally, just look at what's happening. Don Spadaro says he'll remember to mention the team in his prayers. Now get back to work.
Holy shit, this monster.
The miners turn and walk slowly into their mine. A true death march. Don Spadaro goes to Il Merlo and tells him to send someone down there to look for the missing team. His big-ass ring shines in the light. Il Merlo agrees and goes straight to Enzo and Gatiano. We are now in the deep mine. Il Merlo leads Enzo and Gatiano down through the deep mine to where the missing crew was last seen. Il Merlo sees them off and tells them not to come back until they find the missing crew. Enzo and Gatiano head down with lanterns, careful to smell for gas throughout. It's like scary quiet down here, and the pathways get more and more narrow. Enzo slips and slides down a path further into the deep mine. They find one mine worker dead. Gatiano is like, well, that's definitely fucking gas. That dude's just fucking dead.
Oh my god, like, what more proof do you need?
Well, Enzo's like, hey man, look at our lanterns. The fire isn't acting up, so the gas here might have passed by now. We might be able to get back and tell the rest of the men, and then we can come down and clear the bodies.
So because their lanterns haven't just exploded, they're like, it's probably fine.
Yeah.
They're waiting for their lanterns to explode.
Tom, these are 17-year-old indentured servants. They don't go to school.
Oh,
they go
just
to mine.
Don't understand that concept at all.
They're miners. You have to cut them some slack.
They are the canaries.
A tremor begins to rumble above them, and holes in the mine start to creak. Gatiano's lantern bursts up with flame. The gas has started to leak after the tremor.
There it is.
So literally give it
Yeah.
20 seconds. The ball of fire lights up Gatiano's terrified face. Enzo tells him to run, and they dash through the deep mine to get up to the surface before the more tremors destroy the mine. The gas races along with them, fireballing all the lit torches along the way.
That's kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie.
They get to a ladder to climb their way up, coughing from the tight air in the collapsing mine. They climb up to a landing, but more tremors go through the mine and destroy the entire path behind them.
Oh shit.
More and more paths implode as they run for help. Rebel hits Enzo, and he's partially covered with rocks. Gatiano runs back and pulls him free. At the steps of the entrance, Gatiano realizes he dropped his money.
Oh no.
Enzo says, damn, that's crazy. I'm not fucking dying here. Let's go.
Right.
Gatiano says the famous words that never go wrong. He'll be right back.
Oh Jesus, you never say that.
And he runs back for his cash roll. He sees it though, and he's like, okay, I got this. I'll be truly 2 seconds. Gatiano runs to his money and wraps his fingers around it as the structure collapses all around him.
Yeah, we all saw that. Sorry you didn't.
Enzo knows he has to run, but he can't look away at his only friend in this entire world, destroyed by the place they'd been trying to escape from. The entire path of the mine is crushed under the weight of the earth. Enzo coughs and turns to leave. He can barely breathe as he steps into the sunlight. On the surface, everyone else is bent over, coughing too. The gas released from the catastrophic collapse in the mine, and it's gotten to everyone on the worksite, even on the surface. People closer to the mouth of the mine are collapsed, and other workers are trying to drag the bodies to safety. Il Merlo is up there screaming that, if you can walk, you can carry. He would have loved terrorizing a Cheesecake Factory full of 19-year-old waiters.
Just somebody with the most minimal amount of power abusing it.
Il Merlo's dumbass shit second in command, Lombra, tells the workers the shafts need to be open, threatening them with death in the mine or death on the surface, their choice.
Everybody's already dead in the mine.
He's not good at motivating his team is my issue. Enzo goes straight to Il Merlo and tells him that he is responsible for all of this, that he sent them down there to die. Il Merlo says he doesn't control the mountain, and it's tremors, not me, dipshit.
God, this guy's the worst.
Lombra directs Il Merlo to turn his attention back to getting the mines open, and they turn to leave. Enzo swears at them in Italian and spits at them. Il Merlo turns with his whole body and punches Enzo in the face.
A child.
Il Merlo tells Enzo to shut the fuck up, and Enzo gets up, whips out that handy knife he got earlier.
Hell yeah.
And now it's fucking on.
Let's go.
Il Merlo and Enzo begin a knife fight, which is the primary boss battle fight system for most of Mafia the Old Country. Enzo gets a beautiful clean cut directly across Il Merlo's face.
Oh, shit.
Like, this motherfucker looks like Scar from The Lion King now.
Oh, that's so bad. Oh, a cut on your face is fucked up.
It's so cool.
Oh.
Il Merlo stops at this to touch the blood pouring out of his face and screams Sicilian swears and begins to rush at Enzo. But now, the tremors cannot be ignored. The whole mountain trembles and rocks roll down to the worksite. The worksite structures begin to collapse. Enzo takes advantage of the confusion to escape. He slides down the edge of the worksite to a lower, empty one and begins to run. Il Merlo commands that all his men fire on Enzo. Enzo runs through where the guards and the mafioso who run the mine stay, and he steals a horse. Enzo dashes through paths with bullets flying at him.
There are more important things going on right now than to shoot at this child.
This guy who rage quits, or the fact that a volcano's about to explode.
Like, entirely. The entire place is collapsing. You're like, nah, murder this kid first.
Well, you've worked in a chain restaurant. You get what this is like. It fully just gave me Cheesecake Factory vibes. A place I've never worked,
Right,
to be very
say,
clear.
You've never worked there.
Nah, but like, I get it. Enzo rides until he's off-site, and then he keeps riding for safety. His best friend died for this safety, this sense of security, like 20 minutes ago. He's gonna take the opportunity to live his life.
Hell yeah.
As Enzo rides over a path of water, sliding through a beautiful Italian countryside, we get the title card for Mafia, the Old Country.
Damn, that was just the prologue?
A volcano smokes in the background of the title card. It's so cool.
Shit, yeah, that's awesome.
They do a full opening credit sequence for each of the actors in the game over shots of Sicily and, like, loose crime shit. Like, it'll be like a crate of oranges for the Godfather with a gun in it, or like a bunch of wine, or just stacks of money, shit like that. It's fun.
No, that's great.
Enzo rides out as long as he can manage. It's dark out now when he finds camp in an empty stable house, and he hides. Through the slats in the window, headlights break up the darkness inside. The car stops, but the engine continues purring. This wakes up Enzo, and he looks out to see a few suited men with lanterns arriving on the property. He recognizes Il Merlo and Lombra and is like, God fucking damn it.
It's always good when they show up in the middle of the night.
Enzo quietly sneaks through while Il Merlo's men start looking for him. Enzo isolates and chokes out some of them.
Damn.
Il Merlo reminds his gooners that Spadaro needs them to go do this fast so they can get back and clean up the mess at the mines. Enzo sneaks his way toward the car Il Merlo's guys came in. But this is bad, and Il Merlo kicks him to the ground immediately.
Oh, shit.
Il Merlo stands over him, telling him, no more running. The Il Merlo gooners surround Enzo, and Il Merlo sits on him, knife to his throat, telling Enzo, I'm gonna make you wish you died in that rubble. He's stopped by the sound of a gunshot. Il Merlo gets off Enzo and just stands. One of his gooners stands just behind him. A beefy man with gloriously curly hair enters, flanked by 3 armed men. He asks what Il Merlo is doing here. Il Merlo is silent and scared. The man demands he answer him. He doesn't raise his voice, but he does have to ask a second time, which puts everyone on edge. One of Il Merlo's gooners stands forward and tries to explain that the Carusi ran off, but he's cut off by a handsome suited man, gun-butting him in the face. Il Merlo's goon crumbles to the floor in a fat thud. Il Merlo's eyes lock in on this man on his ground, unconscious, with an oncoming concussion, then come up and lock in on the big curly man. For a third time, the big curly man has to ask the question of what he's doing here.
Oh my gosh.
Il Merlo finally shakes from his terror and says simply, the boy owes a debt. We chased him, he crossed over. We mean no disrespect. Il Merlo is scared shitless because he realizes that as one of Spadaro's men, he can't be in this territory. This is the big curly man's territory.
Oh, he's out of his jurisdiction.
Yep. And this is Don Teresi. And this is his territory. And he has every legal right to peel the skin off of Il Merlo right here.
Oh, this kind of world is very different from the one we exist in today.
Oh, yeah. Il Merlo offers Don Teresi a peaceful end, saying, hey, I'll take the boy and leave. Don Teresi tells him, the boy goes nowhere with you.
Hell yeah.
Il Merlo can't really argue, but he does try to reason with Don Teresi, telling him, until the debt is paid, he belongs to us.
Oh.
Don Teresi steps forward toward Il Merlo. All of Don Teresi's men ready their weapons on Il Merlo and his remaining gooners. Enzo lays on the ground in the middle of a literal turf war, the unfortunate middle ground for a gang dispute. Don Teresi steps so close to Il Merlo that their belly buttons are touching. He speaks softly but sternly, telling Il Merlo, "On my land, you own nothing. You tell your boss that boy is under my protection, and if our truce is dishonored again, I will repay that offense tenfold." Don Teresi gently places his hand on Il Merlo's chest and pushes so hard, Il Merlo stumbles backward.
I always love when the tough guy gets shown up.
Il Merlo is nearly in tears. He's actively shitting his pants, and the plops are rolling down his pant leg and soaking into the cotton fibers of his socks.
Hell yeah, they are.
Don Teresi tells him to leave. Il Merlo silently heads to leave, and his remaining conscious gooners follow suit. They fire up their car, aware that they came with 8 and are leaving with 3, and head out.
Oh, god damn. But also, like, Enzo, you're gonna owe this Don Chorizo guy some fucking time in your life and everything.
You're jumping ahead. Hey, Tom.
That's the point.
That's
I'm sorry.
The whole fucking game. You guessed it.
Oh, this Don just saved your life. You are fucked.
The handsome suited man goes to Don Teresi. This is Luca, the Don's right hand. He's concerned that Don Teresi edged toward a gang conflict over a kid that we've never fucking met, dude.
Right?
Don Teresi advises Luca that the greater risk would be allowing our enemies to overstep without consequence.
That's fair.
Both men look down at Enzo, still scared shitless on the ground. Don Teresi looks at him and asks if Enzo can work. Grateful for the grace, Enzo tells him, "Yes, I can." Don Teresi walks past, telling Luca to take Enzo back to the compound. Now, Luca is a clean, sharp man with stylized mustache and fantastic clothes. He's so immediately charming and handsome. I really enjoy Luca.
That old school, well-dressed Italian. That's such a good look.
That's a genre, baby.
Right?
He's a family man with a wife and kids, including his son, Sam Trappini, a boy who is very loyal to his family. Luca helps Enzo up and asks about Il Merlo, asking if Enzo is responsible for the gash across Il Merlo's face. Enzo admits that it is his work, and Luca warns Enzo that Don Teresi doesn't take kindly to trespassers. But he takes even less lightly to the Spadaro clan, so he's fine. They head to the horses, and Luca asks Enzo if the horse belongs to him or the Spadaros. And Enzo's like, "Yeah, I had to steal that. I didn't pay for that. I'm sorry, dude." Luca rolls his eyes, realizing he is responsible now for a thief and a trespasser. As they ride, Luca does warm up a bit to Enzo, saying his horse looks as bad as he does. He's impressed by how far they got, though, because the mine is far as fuck. Luca asks what happened at the mine, and Enzo explains the collapse and that people died. He left and is headed anywhere but there. Luca asks Enzo if he has a family, and Enzo thinks about his dipshit dad who sold him for basically the monetary equivalent of a PlayStation 5, like the exact one I played this on.
Jesus, when you put it into those terms, that's just fucking sad.
Yeah, Enzo's like, "No, I don't have a family." Luca tells Enzo that he can stay, but he would have to work because housing isn't free. Enzo is relieved because these people at least saved him and offer him something more honest than the mine slave trade. He tells Luca, "Whatever it is, I can do it." They ride up, talking about how Don Teresi runs this whole area, has all these grapevines for wine, and that's more or less his business, in addition to the crime. They come up to a massive property where Don Teresi and a lot of his people live. This is Villa Teresi. Lucas speaks highly of him, telling Enzo how Don Teresi started with nothing, just like them, and built this whole enterprise. Luca walks on campus like he's the mayor of Villa Teresi. Everyone really respects him and is very excited to see him. Luca introduces everyone to Enzo, a new pair of helping hands. They park their horses at the stable, and Luca takes Enzo to a private workers' room on the property. They have some seasonal workers who come in and out, so there's kind of a sheltered dorm situation with some private suites for workers right on site. Luca warns Enzo to not go poking around for anything that's not his business. This room is small and dirty, but it's all his. There's a bed, there's some shelving. It's just enough for someone, escaping a mining prison.
You know, Enzo's coming up pretty well so far for himself.
This is a good day for him,
Yeah.
all things considered. Enzo is beside himself, but plays it cool, saying, oh yeah, this is good. I slept in a fucking hut with 50 other men, so this is great.
I was literally running for my life earlier today. So yeah, anything outside of that, A+.
Fully, he's like, this is honestly fine. And Luca goes, this is not fine. This is disgusting. But I'm happy you're happy.
He's like, nah, this is a come up.
Luca tells Enzo to rest up and they'll talk about work later. Enzo has never been told to rest in his life and realizes everything's going to be different now.
Oh my god, somebody's actually telling him to rest.
He looks around his new private space, relieved. Enzo is sleeping and wakes up the next day to someone in his room. He jumps to his feet, knife drawn. A mildly beefy guy looks at Enzo, weapon out, and asks, is this how the Mind Boys say hello? What the fuck?
Pretty much.
This is Cesare. He's the nephew of Don Teresi. He's wearing layers of linens over his layers of privilege. And I don't necessarily mean this disrespectfully, but Cesare does look like Human Shrek.
Okay. Hey, you know, people found Human Shrek very attractive.
Yeah, I don't, but it's just all I saw when I looked at him. I was like, that's a fucking jaw, my guy. Hell yeah. Enzo asks who he is and why he's here, and Cesare explains that he belongs here. Well, not in this, like, weird, dirty room, but out there. I'm in the Mafia.
Just straight up says the Mafia.
Cesare's an idiot. I love him. Enzo lowers his knife and asks about Luca, and Cesare says Luca's busy, but asks Cesare to get Enzo working. Cesare tells Enzo he smells really bad and to change clothes. Enzo realizes that those cabinets in here have fresh clothes inside that happen to fit him very well. They gave him a place to stay and fresh clothes. Enzo is on the edge of everything, and he's like, I'm just really happy to be here.
He's like, this is the best my life has ever been. I don't know what you're talking about.
Enzo changes clothes and comes out to Cesare, who needs Enzo to unload some boxes with him. Cesare calls him Caruso, despite him clearly not being a mind slave anymore. Cesare is impressed with how strong Enzo is, and Enzo is like, yeah, man, I was in physical labor prison. You work out all the time.
Non-stop. You don't get a choice not to.
Cesare gives him some shit about how bad he smells and coming from the mines. He's mostly busting his chops for being the new guy. After that, Enzo is called by Valentina. She's very much a head of household staff for Villa Teresi, and she happens to be Luca's wife. She's very kind, and she says Luca told her all about Enzo. She says this is a place of respect. Don Teresi is a very fair man, and everyone is kind to each other. Except for Cesare, because that boy is a law unto himself. She has Enzo bring a full pig to the kitchen for tonight's feast. And she tells him, hey, look, we don't do feasts often, but when we do, I make sure everything is fucking perfect. I love a good feast.
She takes her pig roasts very seriously.
Absolutely. Valentina walks into the kitchen and tells him more about the community. She's sure to emphasize that Enzo keep his nose down and not get involved with Don Teresi's business. Cesare is already in the kitchen, munching on things and getting in everyone's way, which obviously annoys Valentina. She tells Cesare to be nice, and he huffs and puffs and says, I'm always nice. I'm the Don's nephew. Cesare takes Enzo on a tour of the property and lets on that he's impressed that Enzo cut up Il Merlo's face. He was like, that was fucking cool as shit, dude.
I love that they're like all approving of that fact.
Yeah. Cesare brings Enzo to the stables and has Enzo help them by shoveling up some shit.
Oh, everybody loves that job.
In the stables, a woman stands in the doorway. She's young and slender and is holding a bushel of apples. She looks at Enzo and asks who he is. He introduces himself and says he's working here. They make a bit of small talk, and she's clearly increasingly curious about the new handsome guy shoveling horse shit. She offers him an apple, but he politely declines. I think he kind of lost his appetite.
Yeah, when your hands are covered in shit, you don't want a handheld food.
She smiles, bites an apple, and tells him she'll see him around. It's cute. She leaves, and he has a bit of butterflies in his stomach and watches while she walks away. Enzo checks in with Cesare after his stable work. A very old man in a suit named Tino yells at Cesare to get his shit together because Don Teresi wants dinner in an hour. Cesare tells Enzo to wash up or he'll scare everyone off of eating.
Just continually ripping on him is great.
Yeah. Enzo heads back to his room and a priest is near there waiting for him. This is Father Sisone. He introduces himself and says he heard Enzo escape the mines. He says it's a tragedy what happened and he's sorry for all the troubles Enzo's been through at such a young age. He tells Enzo he's happy Don Teresi is being generous enough to open his arms to him. Enzo thanks him and he's on his way. Inside his room, Enzo finds a note from Father Sisone extending an offer to listen to confessions or pray with Enzo. He's coming from a really nice place, caring for Enzo just being like a young man. It's such a loving community immediately. Enzo gets ready and heads out for the evening. Everyone within the Teresi family, all of his actual family, his employees, his brothers in arms, everyone and their wives are all on property. There's lots of tables and the night is warmed up with the dreamy glow of candles. People are meeting, laughing, just enjoying their time together. An older woman named Clarissa invites Enzo to sit with her and hands him a big bowl of hot food.
Hell yeah.
Enzo is so grateful for a real meal because he probably hasn't had one in years at this point.
Not hot at the very least.
Enzo eats like a monster. He's shoveling food like he's running diagnostics on his esophagus and needs to stress test it. Luca walks up and asks Clarissa for some privacy with Enzo. Clarissa steps away and Luca takes her seat. He looks over and says, Enzo, I've seen dogs eat with more restraint. He tells Enzo that Don Teresi butchers all the meat himself, and he'll send his compliments up to the chef.
Hell yeah.
Enzo slows down his eating, mortified in front of Luca. Enzo earnestly thanks Luca for the job, for the lodging, for everything. Luca points to Don Teresi and says, that's the man you want to thank. Luca offers Enzo an opportunity to show his appreciation by working hard and staying out of trouble. He offers Enzo a drink and they cheers over Don Teresi's famous foot-made wine.
Foot-made. Oh, that's right, because you have to like stomp on the grapes and shit back then. Huh?
Yeah, this is old Sicily, baby. These are foot juice.
Oh, gross. Gotta cut juice. Foot juice.
No! Enzo's smile grows and he's so happy. And this is honestly probably his first drink in his life. Luca points out Tino, the older guy in the suit who yelled at Cesare to clean himself up. Luca explains that Tino is the Don's old friend and business advisor. And he's also a cranky old bastard. Luca cheers at seeing the guest of honor. It's this person's name day, and that's why we're having such a big feast.
Oh, okay.
Down from the stairs of the home in a beautiful green dress is the woman Enzo met earlier today, the woman who offered him an apple. She walks around waving, and Enzo asks who she is. This woman goes to Don Teresi and hugs him. He addresses the crowd saying, friends, family, please upstanding in the celebration of my beautiful daughter Isabella on her name day. Everyone stands and claps, including Luca and Enzo. Enzo's eyes are fully locked on Isabella. Here, in the glow of the candles and the love of her friends and family, she is stunning.
So the stable boy is falling in love with the rich girl.
Not just the rich girl, the princess.
Right, basically.
With a salute, everyone raises a glass to Isabella. She makes eye contact with Enzo and smiles. He tilts his head, nodding that he felt that too. A few months later, Enzo is helping Luca with loading wine into a caravan. Today's a big day because there's a festival in San Celeste, the neighboring town. The festival's main event is a big horse race where nearby towns and villages send their best riders, and it gets really heated. Enzo's never been to a festival, but he's heard about the race. He said he's heard the Spadaro team usually wins. At hearing this, Luca spits on the ground and says, if we finish all our deliveries, you will see how much bullshit that is.
I love how, like, even at that level of poor, they still have, like, their ride or dies for their teams.
Yeah. He promises to take Enzo to the race and see the Spadaro racers get their shit handed to them live in person. Luca tells Enzo they're doing some business today, and they saddle up and hit the road. They do some bro bonding, and Enzo finds out that Luca had been working with Don Teresi for about 20 years now. One night when he was younger, his cattle farmer father was shot dead and left Luca alone.
Oh.
The Don took Luca under his wing, and they've been in business ever since. Luca asks Enzo what Enzo really wants in life, and Enzo simply says to live as he chooses. Luca assures him that because Enzo is reliable and works hard, that will help get him far. Luca is really excited about the Teresi horse racer this year. He's apparently really good. They get closer to town and Enzo reveals the only time he got away from the mines were on Sundays, when they carted the Carusi down to Mass and then immediately back. He's basically never really been in society. Luca tells him not to ask too many questions. Luca explains that Don is in the business of favors, and his name carries weight in town. They do a wine delivery, and outside, while killing time, Enzo plays with his knife. Luca watches and tells him to get to know his blade because it could save his life. Enzo tells Luca he won a knife fight before, the one with Il Merlo, and Luca corrects him, saying he survived a knife fight. But to win another one, he needs to learn the old ways of knife fighting.
I'm sorry, the old ways of knife fighting?
It's the old country, it's their whole deal. Enzo says he was told to stay out of trouble, and Luca explains that, well, you know what, in this line of work, trouble finds you sometimes.
It does.
Luca pulls his knife and bends the blade back in the handle. He offers Enzo a plain knife fight with no blades just to test their skills. This knife fight teaches Enzo how to parry and teaches Luca how to love his adopted son, Enzo. It's basically like taking your kid to play catch, but for mafioso. They play knife fight for a while when they hear bells ringing. Luca wraps this up so they can head downtown on horses and watch the race. Luca warns Enzo again to keep his mouth shut and his head down. He doesn't want Enzo attracting attention to himself. They head into the Team Teresi tent, and it's immediately all drama. The jockey riding for Team Teresi is throwing up. Cesare's dumbass took him out drinking, and Tino had to pry them out of a brothel an hour ago.
Oh my god, this is all part of the plan. There's a bet placed.
This guy is way too fucked up to drive, and everyone hates Cesare. Don Teresi sits, frustrated and quiet. Suddenly he stands, asking for solutions because he will not forfeit this race. It means too much to him. Enzo says, fuck Luca's advice, and pipes in, offering to ride for the Teresi family.
Hell yeah.
This catches Isabella's attention, who looks over at Enzo with admiration. Tino turns and asks Luca why the farmhand is even fucking here. Don Teresi waves Tino off and asks Luca if Enzo can ride. Luca reminds Don Teresi that Enzo outran the Spadaros before, and he's been riding with Enzo all day, and look at him, he's fucking fine. Don Teresi weighs his options and pulls Enzo aside to warn him. A lot of people will be watching. He tells him that he'll ride for San Celeste, but be representing the Teresi business and Don Teresi's personal reputation. He wants to make sure Enzo understands the weight of this race.
So don't fuck it up.
Enzo's like, yeah, I'm good. And is bonded by word to Don Teresi.
Hey, Enzo has got all of the confidence in the fucking world at the very least.
Honestly, at this point, he's like, how much worse can it get? Like, I've lived through so much bad shit, it's fine. If I fuck this up and they kill me, who gives a shit?
What he lacks in confidence, he makes up for in audacity.
He is a man. Don Teresi tells the rest of the tent that they have a rider and to get Enzo ready. Luca goes straight to Enzo and is like, you want to twist the knife on the Spadaros? Here's your fucking chance. He pats Enzo on the shoulder and sends him off. Isabella is sitting there watching all of this, so excited to see her crush ride a horse. This is fucking great. The race is 2 laps around San Celeste, and there's 8 other families represented in the race. Enzo pulls forward when he can, and he wins.
Hell yeah.
The crowd screams in delight, and townspeople line up to shake Enzo's hand. In the winner's circle, Luca goes to hug Enzo and congratulate him. Some familiar boys, Lombra from the mines and a couple more of Il Merlo's boys, walk by, cranky as fuck because the Spadaros just got spanked.
This family just keeps getting whooped on by Enzo.
By Enzo specifically, like, who the fuck are you? Some loose Teresi mafiosos tell them, better luck next year, boys! Don Teresi comes out of his tent to address the crowd that formed near his team's site. He tells everyone, for 50 years I've attended this race. As a boy, then as a rider, and now as a proud patron. And as you know, nothing makes me happier than a victory for my town. People clap, they're screaming, they're hooting and hollering, it's great. Behind the crowd, Il Merlo joins Lombra, and they point at Enzo and then walk away.
Uh-oh.
Don Teresi has crates of wine brought out and asks for a round of applause for Enzo. Enzo beams, proud of himself. Tino comes to him and says, well, that was quite a race. And then he hands Enzo a crate to be delivered and smugly walks away.
Don't forget your place, boy.
Yeah, he's being a dick and won't let Enzo enjoy the celebration of the race that he just won, but
Nope.
he's a bastard old man. Enzo sighs and walks the crate deeper into town where it needs to be delivered. He heads into the streets of San Celeste and gets a tap on the shoulder. Enzo turns to see Isabella smiling at him. She says she needed a walk because the party was getting way too rowdy, and she joins him for deliveries. She knows these streets really well, so this actually kind of works out. Isabella is coy and friendly, while Enzo is clearly nervous around being her, and, like, she's the boss's daughter, and he's at work, and he definitely has a crush on her immediately, so he's just a little ball of nerves.
Right.
Isabella says he's fascinating. A mind slave runaway turned award-winning rider. Enzo is humble and says, well, I owe a great debt to your father for helping me. I'm just doing my part. Isabella and Enzo go right up to the delivery address and hand off a bottle of wine. The guy who takes the wine is very formal and respectful of Isabella because he is terrified of her dad. Enzo and Isabella walk through town together on these deliveries. They talk about Isabella's dead mom and mafioso dad and how Enzo doesn't have a family. On the way to a delivery, they run into an alley with a bunch of Spadaro men. Enzo does not want to risk Isabella getting hurt and stands in front of her. Lombra and Il Merlo begin to talk shit about the Teresi family's prized pony, Enzo, and the Don's daughter. Lombra brandishes a knife and invites Enzo into a knife fight. Enzo throws the wine crate at Lombra and whips out his own knife. Isabella yells, terrified. This fight feels so fucking good. Because this guy's been a dick to Enzo since the moment we've turned the goddamn game on.
Yeah.
His entire character art is, I hate Enzo specifically. Lumbra will lunge at Enzo and say shit like, I'll make you wish you died in the mines.
Oh my god.
Enzo does get the upper hand, and before he stabs Lumbra in the eye, Luca comes in and whistles at everyone to stop. And he's so fucking cool that when he whistles, everyone, regardless of what team you're on, is like, oh shit, we fucked up.
Oh, we've all heard that whistle that stops no matter what's happening in its fucking tracks.
He's a parent and he has that power over everyone in his vicinity. It's so cool.
Oh, that's great.
Enzo throws Lumbra to the ground and the Spadaro boys look nervous and are quick to pick him up and move on. Lumbra promises Enzo this isn't over, and Luca screams at him to get the fuck away. They leave and Luca turns to Enzo. Isabella runs up and explains that Enzo was defending her. Luca says, that's good, and explains, you know what? Emotions are high. It's race day. Luca sends Isabella back to the party and tells her not to tell her father about this.
Really? You don't want the mob boss to know you just saved his daughter's life?
Okay, but she snuck away from the party and who was probably supposed to be watching her.
That's fair. You also put her life in danger. I see where the problem is.
Yeah, at a family event.
Yep.
Luca looks into Enzo's eyes, reading his secret through his mind, and tells him, the Don is very protective of his daughter.
Well, yeah, it's his daughter.
Luca tells Enzo this entire incident stays between them for Enzo's safety. Enzo agrees and heads out. And I fully think it's headcanon that Luca was supposed to be watching Isabella, got a little too drunk and was like, oh, god damn it.
I'm going to blame this on Enzo.
Yeah. I'm going to trick Enzo into fearing for his life.
Yeah.
And no one's going to be none the wiser. We're all good. A few days later, Enzo is enjoying a sunny day, drinking wine straight out of the bottle, just in front of his tiny shithole home that he loves so much. He looks around, sees that no one is taking notice of him, and he pulls out a note. It's from Isabella, thanking him for protecting her in San Celeste. It also tells him to meet her in the garden if they want to talk again. And not to worry, she won't tell anyone.
Oh, if she has to say that, that means, yeah, this is going to be our little secret.
Yes! He smiles and pockets the note. Enzo beelines for the garden and finds his little secret, Isabella. He asks why she wrote to him, and she says, why did you come? It's so like, we all know what's happening.
Come on, don't be like that.
You're both 17 and you're beautiful.
If you're gonna be direct, be direct.
Enzo tells her he apologizes for the fight and then says, hey, it's not a good idea for us to be meeting like this. He tells her he has to lay low and work hard, and her father's a very powerful man. She asks if her father already controls his life. Tino, the old mean guy, interrupts them with an old man's grunt. He asks what Enzo is doing here, and Enzo says he's looking for Luca. And Tino says, well, Luca isn't here. And then he leans into Enzo and says, sneaking around where you don't belong will be the last thing you do.
Oh, shit.
Tino turns to Isabella and tells her her father's looking for her. She silently heads off. Enzo shits a brick, realizing, yeah, she really was flirting with me, and oh my god, Tino's gonna fucking kill me. Enzo finds Cesare and Luca in the garage, talking about how Cesare is fucking some girl in town whose father is a lawyer. Luca tells him to be careful because Cesare is so stupid it'll scare the bitches. Cesare is annoyed to see Enzo and says, oh my god, are we rolling out with the shit shovelers now? Luca tells him that Enzo earned a change of scenery after defending the family's honor at the horse race. Unlike you, who ruined the fucking horse race.
And do nothing.
Luca explains to Enzo that Don Teresi provides security to many businesses in town, and today they're rolling out to collect on the fees associated with that security.
Ah, real mafia shit.
Yeah, like traditional mafia shit.
Yeah.
Enzo would be there to help out in case anyone is, let's say, forgetful of their responsibilities to the Don. Cesare says, and besides, the fuck else are you doing right now? I love how dumb he is.
Yeah.
The boys saddle up and head into town. Cesare teases Enzo about being a mine boy, but Enzo holds steady. Some of the pickups are easy. Some need Enzo to flash a gun to get the money, but they develop a rhythm. The well-established and wise Luca meets with the owner, Cesare acts tough and dumb, and Enzo gets in-field job training to be a true mafioso. They head towards their last stop of the day at a quarry. The owner is usually really good about paying them on time, but they've been late lately. Luca worries something might be wrong. Cesare worries about the girl he's trying to fuck being late on a dick appointment. Enzo admits he's not seeing anyone after Cesare presses him. Luca tells Cesare to shut the fuck up, and they finally start riding quietly to the quarry, which is so funny that Luca's like, I hate you. The quarry has a lot of guys just like standing around and complaining about not getting paid. They get to the quarry owner, and he says he took on some socialists in his workforce, and they caused everyone to strike.
Hell yeah, socialists.
I was like, Tom's gonna love this. Luca gets the name of the head of the strike and heads out to speak to him. Outside, the strike leader is standing on a big block, screaming at the workers about civil rights. The Mafia, not big on that one.
No, they are not big fans of the union.
Luca tries to reason with the strike leader, but it quickly turns into a knife fight with the strike leader and Enzo.
Oh.
Enzo beats him down but spares his life. Luca asks the workers if anyone wants next. No? Okay, get back to work. Privileged and porky, Cesare says, yeah!
Oh, you were the original Pinkerton here.
The quarry owner comes out and Luca informs him that the revolution is over. Pay off the socialists and kick them out. Grateful, the quarry owner pays Luca and thanks him for smoothing over the drama. They head down to the docks to meet up with some old friends of the family. Luca tells Enzo to just listen and be cool, don't be fucking weird. Luca takes the boys to a small table where we see two men playing chess, Don Galante and his grandson Leo. Leo's the kind of guy that would rather be alive in his pajamas than dead in a three-piece suit.
My kind of guy.
You're gonna love the next couple games in this series.
Oh, good.
Don Galante moves a chess piece, and by Leo's reaction, it's a checkmate. Luca introduces Don Galante to Enzo, saying he's a good kid and a quick learner. Don Galante points at Leo and says, I hope he learns quicker than this one. Yuckity, shuckity, shuckity. Don Galante leads them inside to a bar and brothel to finish their conversation. Cesare immediately gets distracted by the working girls and gets dragged away. Don Galante hands a bag of cash to Luca, apologizing for it being light. Leo explains that the cops have been hassling their business. Truly, moments later, like two pump chump, Cesare reappears. Clearly bursting through his business faster than Enzo in a horse race. Don Galante tells Luca that the new chief of police brought in new guys, and now all of their projects are under a microscope. Luca asks how they can help, and Don Galante says he has a shipment that's caught up in customs due to an unexpected change in personnel. The Galantes are big on import and export, so they are near the docks, they're always managing shit going in and out of the docks, but they don't own the docks, so they just kind of have to like deal with shit a lot of the time.
They really were the old school mafia. Damn.
Oh, yeah. And the shipment that they have held up, they have a buyer for everything. They literally just need the shipment to be released.
Oh, of course. You don't make those shipments without a buyer.
Absolutely. And Leo has a plan. He just needs a couple pairs of hands. And Luca tells Cesare and Enzo to go with Leo and keep it quiet. Luca decides to stay inside the brothel and just, hang out, talk business. You guys go. You'll be gone for several hours, right?
See what he can find out,
Yeah. As soon as the boys step foot out of the bar, Luca and Don Galante have a bottle on the table and they're pouring out shots. Leo takes Cesare and Enzo to the customs yard. Cesare mentions Leo owes Enzo a thank you, and Leo is taking bets on the horse race, and since no one bet on Enzo, Leo came up with so much fucking money.
Oh, really? That's great.
Yeah, everyone was like, who the fuck is this guy? I'm not putting money on him, and Leo's like, I'm gonna make so much goddamn cash.
He was the long shot.
Cesare asks about the shipment, and Leo says it's American whiskey, straight from Empire Bay. The new police chief made a surprise visit just as they were unloading it, and it got confiscated. It was just bad timing. Enzo's like, I'm sorry, so are we robbing the cops? And Cesare tells him not to worry. They rob this place all the time. The boys rob the customs yard and make it out with several crates of American whiskey, and the cops none the wiser. With the stash secured, the boys meet up with Don Galante and Luca. Leo promises the money tomorrow after they meet with the buyer, and Luca promises, we know you're good for it, and they shake hands. That's just good business.
Yeah.
Luca promises only one more stop for the day, and they ride off into the early evening with the Sicilian sun slowly setting behind them. The boys arrive at a farm, and the farmer has been having trouble. Thieves came 2 nights ago and stole his very expensive new water pump. He says he thinks they're Messina's men from another family, and they're probably up in the hills. Luca is on the farmer's side, and the farmer's paying for protection, so they need to pony up and deliver on their end. Cesare's ego is bruised by this. He's infuriated that Luca didn't swing his dick harder on a part of being Don Teresi's family. Luca explains, you don't always need to lead with ego, something Cesare simply cannot comprehend.
Let me teach you what it means to be a Nepo baby real fast. This is how it works.
Yeah. Why don't you just say our last name? And he's like, I'm at work. What the fuck is wrong with you?
That's literally what he's trying to teach him right now.
Yeah. The boys ride up to the hills after the bandits and find them hiding in an abandoned farm. Luca readies his pistol and explains to Enzo that when the bandits stole from that farmer, they put their hands in the Don's pockets, and that cannot happen.
Nope.
Luca hands the pistol to Enzo and says he'll meet up with them later. He's going to stay with the farmer for now. Enzo and Cesare go in and take out all the thieves and loot the abandoned farm, recovering the money, the water pump, and some new rifles. A second wave of thieves come back to the abandoned farm, so Enzo and Cesare have a great second shootout. They take everyone else, and Cesare cuts a gold ring off of a dead body, which scares the shit out of Enzo. He's like, why would you do that? And Cesare goes, he's not gonna fucking need it now.
Right, he's dead.
At the end of the chaos, Cesare tells Enzo he did good for a mine boy. Enzo and Cesare bring the water pump back to the farm, and Luca is impressed. The farmer is incredibly grateful for the boys bringing that pump back. It was crazy expensive, and he needs it to do his job. Luca is pleased with the boys and turns to the farmer to ask for money. The farmer is confused, but Luca insists that the small payment is a good deal for the work they did. Reluctantly, the farmer pays. It's now months later, and Cesare is asking Enzo why he doesn't have a girlfriend. They're interrupted by the entrance of Baron Fontanella. He owns almost all of the land in this area, and Don Teresi greets him with open arms. Actually, all of Don Teresi's land is technically on Baron Fontanella's property line, including the home Villa Teresi.
Oh.
Baron Fontanella and Don Teresi have worked closely to operate, and Don Teresi has been paying Baron Fontanella rent and giving him cuts of the businesses in exchange for the land.
There's always a bigger fish.
Baron Fontanella brought his son, Gennaro, with him, and Don Teresi is quick to bring out Isabella to meet with them both.
Ah.
Luca goes to Enzo and Cesare and gently tells them that the Don and the Baron want their kids to spend some quality time together, politically.
So Enzo's parents aren't the only ones selling off their kids.
God damn, Tom!
Just saying.
Children are currency, and that is a rough thing to think about.
Ah.
Luca assigns Enzo and Cesare to drive Isabella and Gennaro out to the old ruins for some sightseeing and to bond. And Luca makes very, very clear to Cesare to be goddamn nice and don't be fucking weird.
Yeah.
Cesare is just excited to take a car out on the road, but Gennaro says he doesn't trust him behind the wheel. And like, this is a car I didn't even realize existed that requires a hand crank to get the engine to work.
Oh, you've never even seen those in like old movies?
No, you have to like go around to the front and like pull a thing like it's a lawnmower.
The fact that it's in the front is insanity.
It feels weird. You almost think it's, I mean, I've seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and I feel like there's a crank. Well, that thing can fly. That's not fair.
But still, the fact that it's in the front, like, once the car's going, guess which direction it's going?
Well, you have to do it in park. That's the trick to it.
Yeah.
Also, that isn't an issue in this game. To be very clear, you do deal with cars with hand cranks. You never crank it and then it just starts slowly rolling away.
Moving and rolling over you.
That would be very funny, though. Isabella was excited to take her horse out for a trot, and Enzo decides to chaperone her on horseback as well. Isabella teases Enzo that she hopes he can keep up with her, and he's like, I'm literally an award-winning horse racer. He is bricked the fuck up. Gennaro and Cesare ride off, and Enzo and Isabella follow after on horseback. Isabella is so excited because mean old Tino has been on her ass trying to keep her in check, and she's exhausted. She's young, and she's bored, and she just wants to explore, but Tino's been an asshole about not letting her off the property.
Tino sucks.
He does. She's super excited to go on an adventure. And she's not stupid. She knows that Tino and Gennaro's dad want her and Gennaro to get together for political peace between their groups, maybe for a tax cut. I don't know, whatever. But Tino is working on convincing the Don that this is a good idea with this little trip. So for now, she's just happy to be outside, and right now she's really happy to be alone with Enzo.
Just kind of rolling with it.
On the ride, Isabella tells Enzo that she and her mother and father used to visit the ruins all the time. Now that her mother has passed and her dad's been wrapped up in business, she just doesn't get out here very much. Her dad was never really the same after her mom died. They chat more and more, and Isabella is grateful that Enzo speaks to her like a person and not just an item to be protected. He tells her he knows what it's like to need a friend. Isabella decides they're taking the scenic route, and they race to the top of the hill with a beautiful outlook. Isabella says, oh my god, my mom used to paint the ruins from here, and she decided she would bring her camera with her to get a good photo of it. She tells Enzo to use the camera, which really exists to make you do like a take a photo moment in the game.
Right.
And there's a few of these, but this is the first one, and you're like, oh, of course this is a factor in the game. With a little more flirting and a lot more horse riding, Enzo and Isabella make it down to the ruins to meet up with Cesare and Gennaro. Gennaro is clearly too snobby for Cesare, and Cesare is a dumbass who like doesn't understand he's not as interesting as he thinks he is, so they're clearly just annoyed with each other. Gennaro makes a comment about how they took their time, and Isabella says, oh, the ruins have been here for thousands of years, they're not going anywhere. Like, damn, you're beautiful and funny, I love you. Gennaro and Isabella head into the ruins while Cesare and Enzo stay by the car and the horses. Gennaro chain smokes cigarettes, and Isabella is clearly fucking over him immediately, but is like, I'm just gonna make the best out of my afternoon. At least I'm not home. A few hours go by, and Cesare and Enzo are bored as shit. Cesare convinces Enzo to take the car out for a spin, and they do a few laps of the ruins to kill time. To keep his hands clean, Cesare makes Enzo drive. They do a few laps, and Cesare screams at Enzo the whole time to put his foot down, no matter how fast and furiously he drives. While they drive through the ruins, they're suddenly ambushed by bandits sent by Messina, the same bandit from before that hit the farmer.
Through the ruins?
Cesare hangs out the car, shooting at them, clearing the scene. Once Enzo and Cesare are safe, they head out looking for Isabella and Gennaro. Enzo finds Isabella being held at gunpoint, being taken by 4 bandits.
Yeah, this is all a setup.
The Don's daughter would go for a hefty ransom. Isabella is tied up, but still manages to kick a bandit, because a bunch of assholes won't ruin her nice afternoon.
Hell yeah.
Gennaro is also tied up, but is much less feisty, which is very funny to me. The bandits load them up in a wagon with Isabella at gunpoint in the back and Gennaro in the front with the horse driver. Enzo is outnumbered here and can't engage, but Cesare brings the car around so they can start a chase. Enzo takes the wheel since he's a master race car driver now, and they head after the bandits. There's something so beautiful and cinematic about a car chase through the ruins that I fucking love.
Oh, I was thinking that entire thing. I haven't played this game at all, but all I'm thinking is like, God, this would be a great sequence to play through.
Yeah, you see it in your head. You're like, damn, that's cool.
Yeah.
The car begins to short out, and some of the horseback bandits shoot at Enzo and Cesare. Enzo tells Cesare to take the wheel, and he jumps from the car to a horse. It's so fucking cool.
Damn.
Enzo pursues on horseback and shoots at bandits as he rides. Enzo makes it to the wagon where Isabella and Gennaro are, and he kicks the shit out of the bandits. The driver knocks Gennaro out to shut him up. Enzo manages to knock out the bandits in the back of the wagon and jumps off with Isabella to get her to safety.
How Isabella could fall for literally anybody else at this point is beyond me.
And he's cute.
Like
he's a very handsome guy. Like he's beautiful jawline, big eyes, like gorgeous head of hair, and he's minor slave strong, you know?
Right.
Like it's just muscle. There's no fat on his body, and he's heroic and he's sweet. Oh, I get it.
Yeah, I get it too.
The last bandit rides off with an unconscious Gennaro. Thankfully, Enzo and Isabella are safe, and Isabella is so happy to be safe, and honestly, she's like a little extra happy that it was Enzo that saved her and not her dipshit cousin Cesare.
Yeah.
He cuts her free, and she immediately puts her hands on him and kisses him. He kisses her back and then gets a little scared, hearing the car coming and not wanting to get caught by her cousin. Isabella takes a big step away from Enzo to make sure Cesare doesn't suspect any horny foul play. Enzo tells Cesare to take Isabella back home while he goes after Gennaro. Cesare is a big butt baby, so he's like, okay, fine, whatever, get in the car, I don't care, I'm taking orders.
Big butt baby.
Cesare tells Enzo not to do anything stupid and he'll come back with Luca and the others. The cavalry's coming. Cesare and Isabella head off while Enzo goes into Messina's bandit hideout, deep in the hills. Enzo safely scopes it out before heading in and sees Messina himself, telling his bandits to keep Gennaro in one place until Baron Fontanella folds. They're getting their fucking ransom money. Messina then scolds his men for losing the girl. Don Teresi's daughter would have been worth a fucking bag, but since she got away, she's surely gonna tell Teresi, and Teresi is gonna send his fucking men after them.
Yep.
He tells them to get ready, we're gonna be gone by the morning. Enzo's watching, and now that they're all focused on packing up, he heads in. It's a great sequence of taking people out silently that evolves into a massive shootout. By the time Enzo gets to Gennaro, the camp is littered with looted bodies. Enzo unties Gennaro and they begin to leave camp, but are stopped by Messina himself, holding a shotgun. Messina tells Enzo, the kid stays with me. Messina makes it clear that Gennaro is his payday and he's not going to give it up. Enzo pulls out his knife, literally bringing a knife to a gunfight, and tells Messina not to count that gold just yet. Messina accepts the challenge and they begin a knife fight. Enzo slashes Messina down as Gennaro watches. They leave Messina's body along with his other men, dead face down in the dirt.
Where they belong.
Yeah! At the Teresi camp, Luca and Cesare are gathering guns, getting ready to roll the fuck up on Messina's camp. Don Teresa is personally there, amping the boys up to kill every fucking one of them for putting their hands on his daughter. The rescue party is stopped when they turn to see Enzo and Gennaro riding on stolen horses, entering the property line. Baron Fontanella runs to Gennaro screaming, "My boy!" And Gennaro dismounts and insists he's fine, it was just a little kidnapped. Don Teresi approaches Enzo, asking about the Messina gang. Enzo assures him that they will never be a problem anymore. Baron Fontanella brings Gennaro inside and tells Don Teresi, "I trust you will handle matters from here." Don Teresi turns his attention back on Enzo. Sternly, he says, "I counted on you to keep Isabella and Gennaro safe, and you risked your life to make amends. It showed bravery." He pauses and puts his hand on Enzo's shoulder. Don Teresi tells him, "In this family, loyalty is everything." And he walks away.
Honestly, I'm thinking about this. Like, I feel like loyalty in Italian stories is like honor in Japanese stories.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, the value of it within the community, especially when you're in such close groups like this.
Yeah, it's kind of the stereotype.
From above, warm and safe, Isabella looks down on her savior. Enzo looks up at her and they smile at each other. Sometime later, Isabella is sitting alone in the chapel. Enzo joins her and she tells him that Father Sisone is not around, in case he was looking to confess any sins.
Ooh.
He sits in the pew behind her and tells her he's not looking for him. He asks if she told anyone, and she says she hasn't told a soul, but why do you ask? Enzo tells her that her father asked to see him, and he's scared it's about her. She turns to look at him finally and says, if I've caused you any trouble, I'm sorry. I didn't fucking say anything, though. He looks her dead in the eye and says, I'm not sorry. It's so cute.
Oh, that's great.
He whispers now, even though they're alone, and says, I want to be with you. Her smile grows across her face, and she tells him she wants that too. Enzo realizes that this is dangerous and goes to leave. As he does, Isabella tells him to be careful. Enzo steps outside the chapel because, like he told Isabella, Don Teresi asked to speak with him personally. He heads up to Don Teresi's office and sees Tino out on the patio. Tino looks at Enzo and tells him, I've got a great view of the chapel from up here.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, fuck. Oh.
Enzo gets to the Don's office and Luca lets him in. Don Teresi begins by saying, I want to speak to you about my daughter.
Oh, no.
The Don lets Enzo sweat it out and then tells him, what you did took courage. Don Teresi says that Luca has spoken very highly of Enzo prior to this Messina incident as well. Don Teresi says that what happened in the ruins was an insult to Isabella and the entire family's reputation. When Enzo took care of Messina, the matter is not fully resolved yet. He asks Enzo flat out, will you help bring this matter to a close?
Oh, like close.
Enzo is like, absolutely, I agree. I'm in whatever you need. Don Teresi is pleased to hear this and explains that Baron Fontanella has a sizable investment in a sulfur mine. I'm sure you're familiar.
Mm-hmm.
His business partner in the mine has been a dick lately, and it turns out that dickhead was the one who orchestrated the attempted kidnapping.
Oh, this son of a bitch.
It's this asshole named Ludovici. Ludovici reached out to Messina and the bandits to kidnap Gennaro as leverage to force Baron Fontanella to sell his stake in the sulfur mine.
Obviously.
Don Teresi was not going to involve himself as it's not his money, not his territory, not his land, not his business. But once Isabella was involved, he changed his mind.
Yep.
Now he wants blood to pour. He wants a message sent to everyone showing that Don Teresi and his family is not to be fucked with.
Not even a little bit.
The Don excuses Enzo and Luca walks him out. The plan is simple. Enzo goes to Ludovici's compound and kills everyone.
Everyone.
Enzo gets a car and drives out to the edge of town and finds Tino and a few of his guys staking out Ludovici's home. Tino is very stern with Enzo, continuing to call him a Carusi, the mine boy. Enzo is told to avoid the main gate and don't get caught. Enzo can go in either stealthy or guns blazing. I really enjoy a stealth game. I think I'm starting to lean there. It feels fun for me to like knock one down and clear out an area. That's fun.
Yeah, you seem to like the strategy of a stealth game.
I do. If you guys know of good stealth games, please send them to me on Discord. I want more. The property is a massive campus with a lot of security, guns, and gooners. Enzo is a bit in awe of how beautiful the mansion is, and then quickly checks himself saying, oh, these fucking rich people. They're terrible.
They are.
Enzo kills his way to Ludovici, who is cowering in his study. He begs Enzo to take his money, take anything he wants, just leave him alive. Enzo knocks him the fuck out, calls him a bastard, and drags him by his feet out of the house. There's a getaway car waiting for Enzo at the front gates. Enzo loads Ludovici in the back, and they head off. They get to the ruins where Tino is waiting with his goons, just as the sun begins to rise.
Oh, I love this.
Enzo delivered Ludovici to his feet, and Tino demands Enzo kill him. Ludovici wakes up and begins crying that he doesn't want to die. I shot him in the nose. The next day, two men are walking in the ruins. They find Ludovici's bloodied body with a roll of cash stuffed in his mouth
Oh.
and all of his fingers cut off at the knuckle.
Oh.
They turn and leave terrified.
They couldn't identify a body by the dental records back then.
But everyone knows who it is because of the message.
Exactly. It's still, that the money wasn't even important enough. They shoved it in his fucking mouth.
You can have it, motherfucker. We don't need it.
Oh.
A week later, it's late at night. Enzo is in his little dorm room situation reading a letter from Isabella. She writes to him saying she wants to be with him, but she's concerned because of Enzo working for her father. She's worried Enzo is way too into serving her father, but she daydreams about ways it could work between them. Cesare interrupts Enzo and he quickly hides the letter. Cesare demands Enzo get out here because he's needed. Cesare leads Enzo to Luca, standing in front of the gun cellar. Luca talks seriously to Enzo, telling him that he's going to walk through a door and answer questions honestly. That's all.
Oh.
Enzo walks through the doors to the gun cellar and sees everyone in the Teresi family, including Don Teresi.
Oh, no.
The room is lit by sparse candles, and Don Teresi demands Enzo come forward. Don Teresi stands at a table with a knife and a prayer card with the image of the Madonna of Annunciation, the nearly universal image of the Mafia's patron. Don Teresi explains, all of the men here are bound by blood. This is a family, and in this family, we follow a code of honor. To his side is Don Galante. He tells Enzo, you are here because of your deeds and the assertion of those who stand by your side. Enzo turns to Luca, who puts a brotherly hand on his shoulder. Tino says, this is a life of secrecy. If you make a friend or meet a woman, they must not know about this. Don Teresi completes the message saying, it is binding, but not forgiving. To betray one is to betray all. Do not fuck my daughter.
Straight up says it.
He doesn't say that last bit. It's implied, though. That was the message I got out of it. Enzo agrees to commit himself to the family, and Don Teresi begins the blood ritual. Don Teresi picks up the knife and holds Enzo's head still. He cuts Enzo's lip open and lets the blood drip on the prayer card.
Oh, that's how they do it? Fuck.
So I watched something with a Mafia expert who says it's usually your trigger finger that they cut open.
Really?
Yeah, but there are some things that say like Cosa Nostra, like the old Sicilian mobs would do the lip. But
Oof.
It's common to see a trigger finger. This is not the most common way of doing the blood ritual.
The fact that this is even remotely real is insane.
So the blood drips on the prayer card, and then Don Teresi moves the prayer card over a candle and lets it begin to burn. As the card burns, he places it in Enzo's palm. He tells Enzo to repeat the oath. I swear my loyalty to this family. My flesh must burn like this saint if I do not keep my oath. The card burns itself out as Enzo completes the oath. Don Teresi formally welcomes Enzo to the family with cheek kisses. Enzo raises a wine glass next to the candle and cheers to the men in this room, his brothers. Enzo leaves the room as the sun rises and Luca pulls him aside, reminiscing on how they found him. Skinny, barely alive in a barn on the run, and now he's a whole-ass made man mafioso. He tells Enzo he's proud of him, and that it's going to be a long one, because when Luca got inducted, they went through 3 crates of wine.
Crates. Oh my god.
4 crates of wine later, Luca is tapped out, and he's like, I'm going home to Valentina. Cesare and Leo Galante keep drinking, enjoying their night. Enzo is so drunk, the screen is distorted.
Oh, I love when they do that.
Naturally, the 3 of them decide to get behind the wheel of a car.
No. No. Bad idea.
It's funny, too, because they have one of those really big Oh, fuck. It's like the record player with the big trombone
Right.
thing on it. And Leo Galante just picks up the whole thing and is walking around with it. It's fucking gigantic.
It's playing music.
Yeah. It's the bulkiest thing on earth. And he's like, I'm bringing the party.
Oh, that's great. That's how they had a radio in the car.
They're such boys.
I guess they didn't have like a breathalyzer back then, so driving drunk, they're not going to get that much trouble for, but it's still a really bad idea.
Tom, they had lobotomies back then.
That was just a normal thing they did.
Everyone's driving drunk. That's the point.
Oh.
Enzo drives while Cesare and Leo celebrate with shit-talking and silly shit. Cesare talks about how all this will be his someday and Enzo will be his right-hand man. Leo says, if that happens, I'm fucking moving. You're an idiot.
I don't want to work for you.
The boys arrive in a brothel in town where Cesare is very well known for being a frequent flyer.
So many brothels.
Enzo says, hey, I'm gonna go hang back by the car. This seems gross. I'm not into this. Leo asks why he won't come in while Cesare is already knee-deep coming in someone. Enzo admits to Leo, there is a girl in my life. This isn't my deal.
Aww.
Leo just reminds him, hey man, code of silence, and then he walks into the brothel.
Jesus Christ.
Which is such a double, I got your back, but don't you talk shit, all right, homie? Love you, bye. Hours later, Cesare goes back to the car to wake up Enzo, who has fallen asleep while his friends indulge in the oldest profession in the world. Cesare takes the wheel and drives them for a bit into town towards an apartment building. Cesare brings Enzo in and presents him with his new home, an entire apartment. Enzo is surprised. He didn't even know this was part of, the package onboarding deal for being a mafioso.
He's still sharing a bunk.
Yeah, he's like, he had his private room, which was the greatest thing he's ever had in his life, and now he has, his own bathroom, so he's losing his mind. Cesare is like, hey man, thank me later. It's just an apartment. Which, shut the fuck up, Cesare. When they get in, they see the apartment is freshly evicted, complete with blood pooling on the floor from the previous occupant.
That kind of evicted.
Enzo is like, is that blood? And Cesare goes, it's probably marinara, which is the dumbest thing to say. Cesare also says, you know what the best feature about this place is? The brothel's 2 blocks away.
That's so close.
Enzo's like, I could not care less, my guy, I promise you.
The best feature.
I love this for Enzo because he was literally in an overcrowded slave trade hut, basically from there to a shitty farmer dorm room. And now he just has his whole ass thing. There's a bed, there's curtains. He can decorate.
He's moving on up.
Yes. Leo leaves to sleep and Cesare leaves to wash the brothel night off of him, leaving Enzo alone in his apartment. From his pocket, Enzo pulls out the remnant of his first best friend, Gatiano, and the postcard for Empire Bay and puts it on his nightstand. It's 1907 now, and Enzo is a fully fledged made man. He's wearing suits, he's clean, it's fucking great.
Hell yeah.
Enzo and Cesare are driving through the windy roads of Sicily to meet up with the rest of the boys. They arrive at a tannery, which is a workshop where animal hides are treated, and I think there's some butchering, but it's mostly processing animal bodies.
It's making it into leather.
Yeah. This is where Don Teresi, Don Galante, Luca, Leo, the whole gang is waiting. Don Teresi tells the gang that since Spadaro took over a mine, he's been doing all sorts of shit using unions, buying police favors, influencing votes, all kinds of shit that fucks with the balance of the mafia businesses in the area. Spadaro really moved in where Messina's stake was, and Don Teresi does not like that. Don Galante isn't as cutthroat. He's I just want to do import and export. Yeah, part of it's illegal, but some of these are above the books. This is he's sweet. He is not as bloodthirsty as Don Teresi in any way, shape, or form. And he, more than anything, doesn't want to start a war.
Well, you need that legal side to keep everything looking legitimate.
Oh, fully. Tony Soprano was Garbage Man or some shit.
Was he?
Technically.
I didn't watch that show.
Don Teresi comes from a place of not wanting Spadaro to get too comfortable throwing his dick around, so he's like, sometimes wars happen, man. Don Galante says he and Don Teresi came up with a plan between their two families to invest in the future. Don Galante explains that there are weekly ships that come in from America and then go back to Empire Bay. He says if they take advantage of that trade route, they can begin to match Spadaro dollar for dollar, bullet for bullet.
Ooh.
Don Galante brings the boys to a currency press that the American government thought was destroyed. They've enlisted the best currency counterfeiter in all of Italy, Gillespie, to engrave their plates. Gillespie is also quite talented with safe cracking and moving guns, but that's not why he's in this game right now. Unfortunately, he was captured and is currently being held by the cops on some bullshit. That's why the boys are here today, to break him out of jail.
I like that you just listed all of his crimes, but he's in jail for some bullshit.
Yeah. Hey, they got him on jaywalking or some shit. I don't know. He peed on a tree in public and they were like, this motherfucker.
This crime he was totally framed for.
Yeah. This was some dumb crime. Leo, Cesare, and Enzo head out to town. They have a contact downtown that knows exactly where to find Gillespie and how to get to him. The contact wants to meet in public, but discreetly, so we have to be really chill about this. The cops in town all know Cesare from being Cesare, just the dumbest guy on earth, and Leo has to keep a low profile because he's trying to stay above the board and not be too connected to Mafia. The Galantes are they're the sweetest people on earth. Like,
okay.
The Galante family is good. These are allies. Do not be suspicious about them. And Leo is truly just like, I can't catch a charge, okay? Don't send me in. So Enzo here gets a little spy mission to get information. Cesare and Leo explain that to ensure privacy, there's a code with information that you have to drop. And these are called mal di dente. You point to your incisors and say, this tooth is killing me. And the other guy says, this tooth is killing me too. And then you know you're in good company.
Oh, so like little code word.
If you've seen that SNL sketch where he's yelling Jaguar at the bar because he's like a spy and he's like looking for the right person. And someone thinks they're hitting on him. Yeah, it's a whole thing. All Leo knows is that their contact is also wearing a red waistcoat. So he's like, I got to find everyone in red and tell them I have a toothache, I guess. I got you. With that, Enzo heads out to a crowded square and almost immediately runs into Valentina, Luca's wife, and Isabella, his waifu. Isabella and Enzo have some pretty heavy yearning glances before Valentina tells her to come on. We're shopping for new hairpins. And Isabella's like, I keep breaking my hairpins. I'm so clumsy. Oh my God.
What are you doing to your hairpins?
There's a few guys in red waistcoats, and one of them straight up just starts screaming when Enzo brings up his teeth. There's one where Enzo goes up and is like, this tooth is killing me. He goes, your tooth, my back, my whole body. Ah!
Oh, one of those assholes.
And Enzo's like, this is not my man. Oh my God. Some guys will be like, do you need a dentist? What the fuck is wrong with you?
I can recommend somebody.
In retrospect, it's not a great thing to drop because people react really strangely. And like, you remember the guy that jumps you at the fucking orange stand and is like, my teeth hurt. And you're like, Jesus Christ. What the fuck? But eventually, Enzo does find the right guy who shows him the cellar where Gillespie is being held and gives him the guard count. There's 2 inside and a ton outside, but it's much fewer at night. Enzo leaves the informant to regroup with Leo and Cesare, and he finds Isabella has broken away from Valentina. She tells Enzo she misses him. She barely gets to see him now that he lives off campus, and she hasn't even been to his new place yet. He tells her he's working on making a good impression on her father, and maybe if that pays off, they won't have to hide anymore. She teases him that if he doesn't invite her over soon, she's just gonna fucking show up. They keep it short since they're in public, and Enzo finds the boys. The plan is to have Leo and his friends draw out the cops out of their police building with a distraction. They'll cause a little mayhem, and once that happens, Enzo goes in and grabs Gillespie. While this is happening, Cesare waits with a getaway car because he's loud and useless. At midnight that night, the plan moves forward. An alarm goes off that the Messina gang has hit again, and the cops flood their way out of the station.
The Messina boys are at it again.
And Enzo knows this is silly because he personally killed Messina and left him for dead, but what's he gonna do, fight them on it?
Right.
It's fine. Cesare wishes Enzo luck, and Enzo heads into the police station campus. There's still a lot of cops on duty, but thanks to Leo's smoke and mirrors, there are significantly fewer. Enzo makes it down to the cellar where the jail cells are. Gillespie is relieved to see someone breaking them out and asks Enzo if he got the plates. Gillespie explains when he got arrested, the cops took his printing plates, and Enzo is, oh, okay, cool, thanks. Now I have a second crime to do at the police station. Across the hall, in the cells, a familiar voice calls out to Enzo. Through the dark, Enzo looks and sees the buzz-cut, gruff gooner from the mines, Lumbra. He taunts Enzo, calling him a boy and telling him to let him out. He speaks with authority, but he doesn't realize he actually knows Enzo yet.
Oh, okay. I thought he recognized Enzo and was just immediately went back to that shit talking.
It's been around 3 years. Enzo left in 1904. It's 1907. So he's like, there's this kid breaking someone out. I'm just going to be a dick and tell him, hey, boy, come break me out too. And Enzo's like, oh, this motherfucker. You did not just do that. Enzo says, you look fine right where you are.
Damn right.
Lumbra wonders, wait, do I actually know you? But he still doesn't get it. It's not clocking to him.
It doesn't compute.
Enzo is happy to leave this prick to rot, just like he left Enzo and so many of his friends to die.
Yeah.
Gillespie snaps Enzo out of his revenge fantasy and is like, hey man, we have to go. We're breaking out of jail. As Enzo and Gillespie leave the cellar, Lumbra continues his taunts, saying, he'll be out soon and he'll visit Gillespie and whoever the fuck you are, boy. Enzo tells Gillespie to stay in one place while he grabs the plates. He can't risk bringing him with him and him getting like a stray bullet. So he's like, here's a corner. Do not fucking move. I'm gonna go steal your shit. I got you. Enzo hunts deep in evidence for the plates and finds them in a sealed safe. By this point, the cops have come back and found the bodies of their fallen coworkers. So they're coming in guns blazing like, oh, God damn it. We fell for this Looney Tunes ass shit. Cesare has to run in and help Enzo and Gillespie get out, but it is a very fun shootout overall. Enzo gets isolated and ends up at gunpoint by the police captain, Major Damasio. Enzo holds his hands up, then quickly disarms the major. This kicks off a knife fight in the dark as the police station descends further into chaos.
Oh, shit.
This fight is great, but the major gets the jump on Enzo, and Enzo is belly down on the ground while the major holds a knife to his throat.
Oh.
He's then blinded by the headlights of Cesare's car and gets distracted. With bandanas around their faces, Cesare and Leo pull guns on the major, who puts his hands up and walks backwards away from Enzo. Enzo jumps in the car where the boys are, they've got Gillespie, and they ride off, leaving the major alive but angry. The boys drop Enzo off at his home first to lay low. He's had a long fucking night and they nailed all their shit. They're good.
Yeah, right?
Leo and Cesare resolve to drive Gillespie to the tannery so he can get to work. As Enzo leaves, he hears him say, I'm sorry, did you say tannery? I was promised a hotel.
I also like that it's like not even 5 minutes of freedom.
Yeah. And he's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
It's like, no, you're going straight to fucking work.
Also, they all make note how bad the tannery smells. They're like, it's fucking corpses everywhere. It's fucking disgusting. And it's very manual labor, so everyone smells like shit.
Yeah, it's a place with dead bodies of animals everywhere.
But that's the point. They're like, we're going to use that because no one's going to suspect that we're working out of there. Because it smells so bad, no one is going to look into it.
Yeah, right?
So it is part of the mafioso like mindset of like, no one's going to fucking crawl around here because no one wants to. It's fucking disgusting.
Nobody wants to spend more than 20 minutes inspecting this place.
Yeah, stick our very important guy in there. No one will find him, which is also thoughtful and very funny to me.
Really smart.
Exhausted and covered in blood, Enzo heads upstairs to his apartment, but is immediately on edge. His door is already cracked open.
Uh-oh.
He pulls out his gun and inspects the doorknob. It's been picked with a hairpin. Gun drawn as he enters, ready to throw the fuck down, Enzo walks through. It's quiet, and then he enters his bedroom and finds Isabella.
Of course, it was done with a hairpin.
She tells him she got tired of waiting for an invitation.
Is that why she's breaking all her hairpins?
Yeah, she's like, I'm getting locked in every fucking room I'm in. I'm basically Elizabeth from BioShock. I'm getting the fuck out of here.
She just learned how to lockpick with them.
If you lock a woman in a room, she's going to learn how to lockpick is my big takeaway from this.
Fair enough. If you lock anybody in a room, I think they should learn how to lockpick.
Yeah, that's not necessarily a gendered thing. It is in video games for some reason, but I have a lockpick kit.
Women are always wearing hairpins more often than men anyway.
Yeah, we have the materials on us. We keep that motherfucking thing on me. She also, this is the sweetest thing about Isabella, she brought a vase and flowers, and she goes, I just figured a single guy's apartment would need some color.
It needs a woman's touch.
She's so fucking sweet. Like, she's really like, I know you live like shit. I snuck out of my house, ran into town, and I brought a vase with me.
I got you flowers.
Enzo brings up, hey, we're in major trouble if anyone sees you here. And she very nonchalantly says, And yet here I am.
Oh, she doesn't give a fuck.
She's so fucking cool. And they're over 18 now.
Okay, good.
To be clear.
Okay, so it's not creepy anymore.
No, it was sweet when they were 17, and now it's like, okay, we can think it's fine.
Okay.
She tells him, you're different. She knows who he is and what's in his heart. She says she's been alone for so long, and this feels worth it. The risk is worth it. And she tells him, I told you what I want, Enzo. Now you tell me what you want. He fucking kisses the shit out of her. He flops on top of her in his bed, and they spend the night christening his apartment.
Hell yeah, they do.
And again, over 18 by this point, to be very clear.
Okay, good.
In the larger sense for the family, the business is off to an immediate start. Elsewhere, Gillespie begins printing fake American $50 bills and is lining them with crates of Teresi wine.
Hell yeah.
The system works and everyone is happy, and Teresi is making some genuine money, like above the books on his winery, and then below the books, on the fake money.
Yep.
Don Galante's team works on the import and export while Teresi's team manages all the products. Everyone is happy. Everyone's paid. It's going really well. This was so worth it.
Oh, that means all the shit's about to hit the fan. Let's go.
This is where the credits roll. Wouldn't that be lovely if it was just like...
Happy ending.
And everyone was fine except for Messina. Bye. Cesare and Enzo go down to the dock to check in with Leo, who shows off some of the wares from America. Empire Bay has been sending guns, cigarettes, all kinds of vices.
All the toys.
But Leo's got something more interesting on his mind. There's a car race coming up called the Terra Siragusa, and there's a shit ton of prize money for the winner. And Cesare is like, sure, that'd be fun, but we don't have a race car. We have hand crank cars, Leo. What the fuck? Leo says that the Americans have been very good to them. And just like that, the Carazella Mark II race car rolls out, hitched to the back of another car.
Oh, how lucky.
It's based on the 1920 Alfa Romeo G1 Spider Corsa, a car that would not be released for another 14 or so years. Cesare is so excited and asks about the car, especially about those visible bullet holes in the car. What's going on with that? Leo says, hey man, don't fucking worry about it.
It's not our problem. It was somebody else's.
Yeah. The Carazella needs a lot of love and an engine, so Enzo drives the trailer car to the family mechanic to get it fixed up.
It doesn't have an engine. That's great.
We're working with what we got here. While the car is getting fixed up, Enzo asks Leo how they'll get registered for the race. There's a massive, sign-off thing, and there's, applying races, and we're just deciding we're doing this today. What's going on? Leo has a plan, but it's gonna take some bullshit to pull off. Leo and Enzo meet in town late that night and find Marquis Siragusa, as in Terra Siragusa. I apologize for my pronunciation. As in, this is the guy who designed the race, organized everything, and even put up the prize money.
Damn, okay.
This guy's a huge deal, and he's a family man and a beloved figure in the church. And they're here tonight to get some incriminating footage of him in the brothel so they can get bumped up to participate in the race.
Hey, that's smart. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Leo's fucking great. I love all his bullshit plans. He's a little silly. He's like, we have to go rob the cops.
He thinks outside the box. That's what I like about him.
Fully. With the help of some of Leo's girly pops at the brothel, Enzo gets a good angle on the balcony and starts snapping pictures of the marquee blindfolded and tied to the bedpost with two women on either side of him.
Oh, so doing the real kinky shit too, especially for the era.
For a family man who's big in the church.
Yeah.
Oh, this is spicy.
Oh, that's great.
Enzo gets the shot and says, okay, I've seen enough. I would like to leave now. Enzo meets up with Leo, who's pleased with the shots, knowing this will for sure get them in the race.
Yep.
The next day, the boys take the Carazella out for a test drive with Enzo driving. They figure, hey, man, you want a horse race? You've been good at everything. You're the protagonist.
Why the fuck not?
Yeah.
Yeah, those two things are going to fucking translate. Famously, jockeys are also F1 racers.
You ran track in high school. You know how to go fast. There has to be two people in the car for the race, and Leo says Cesare will be the passenger since he's going to know the track really well since he grew up here, and he can navigate the shortcuts. They are so on their bullshit. Race day comes and the whole Teresian Galante family are lined up, ready with excitement. Don Galante is complaining that the car race is very loud, but Leo tells him, hey man, it's gonna sound a lot better when you're counting your winnings, so shut the fuck up. Isabella is also very excited, but she can't say why for legal reasons. Lucas says, hey man, if you lose, I'm putting Cesare and Enzo on stable duty for a month, so don't fucking lose, okay? Cesare and Enzo are loaded in the Carazella and the race begins. Almost immediately, the car stalls out, which is so mortifying for everyone in the Teresian Galante camp. They're like, go, go, god damn it, you idiots.
Oh, God, it doesn't even make it off the fucking starting line.
Enzo leaves the car, cranks up in the front, and they get rolling. The race winds through San Celeste, and Enzo and Cesare win the race.
How? It's like in fucking Star Wars when Anakin like stalls out in the pod race and everything. It's like, you stalled out for so long, you shouldn't even be a contender.
Just give up.
But then you still win in the end? Come on.
Oh no, the protagonist overcame some bullshit.
Yeah.
Go figure. That night, the Teresian Galante families are partying hard in the town square. Cesare tells Enzo to get Leo for a photo to commemorate the big win and to get Isabella since she has a camera. Enzo goes around and sees Leo, who introduces Enzo to two American mafioso from Empire Bay, Giuliano Bertone and Ilio Ciccoli. Leo's been getting really cozy with the Empire Bay families and is building some serious relationships with them. And it makes sense, you know, he's the schmoozer, he's on the docks, and he has to figure out how to build the empire from here once his grandpa's not around. So it's smart for him to bring the Empire Bay boys out and be like, hey man, we should be homies forever.
Yeah, we're gonna need those contacts anyway.
Besties? Next game in the series?
The future?
Enzo tells Leo to go by the car for a photo, and then he goes to look for Isabella. Isabella has wandered by the water line, and Enzo gathers her for the photo. Enzo tells her it's a special night because of the win, and your dad said everyone has the night off, just so you know. Like, I'm not busy after this. It's whatever.
If you're not doing anything.
She says, oh my god. You know, that means anyone could sneak out of the house if they wanted to without being spotted.
Why are you being so obvious?
They're flirting, dipshit!
Has she never done this before?
Not really! She's been locked up her whole life. Isabella has indeed snuck out of the house that night, and in the morning, we see her cuddling in Enzo's bed.
Oh.
They're woken up suddenly to Tino banging on the door, yelling for Enzo. Isabella rushes out of bed, and Enzo goes to the door. Tino pushes past Enzo and looks around his apartment, demanding Enzo never leave him hanging on the doorstep. Tino says they have to talk urgently, and then realizes Enzo is shirtless, and there's 2 glasses of wine on the table.
Ooh.
Tino asks who else is here, and Enzo denies this. He's like, I'm just messy. I like to open a new glass of wine. What do you want from me?
Yeah, why is it weird that he's shirtless?
Tino's not falling for it and assumes it's a woman and begins to search the apartment.
Oh my god, who cares?
Enzo is shitting bricks, but is relieved when Tino looks in the bedroom and sees no trace of anyone there. Tino accepts this and gets back to his reason for showing up. He heard there's going to be a raid on the tannery tonight. He thinks there's a traitor that ratted out their counterfeit business. Tino demands Enzo get down to the tannery now and clear the place out. Warn the men, sweep the entire thing. Don't let the cops find fucking anything. Don't let the cops take fucking anyone. There's over $20,000 in counterfeit bills at the tannery that they need to recover right now. I'm going to work on flushing out the rat and ask the cops if they know who said anything.
Fucking rat.
Tino leaves and Enzo gets ready, completely in shock of how close he was to getting caught with Isabella, and then is like, oh my god, the tannery, and he rushes to get his shit together.
Yeah, what's the bigger problem right now, actually?
Is it money or love? I think that's how you gotta... And when you're like, what, he's 20-something, 21, 22?
That's even harder at that age.
Those are slim margins, buddy.
Yeah.
At the tannery, there's some guys mulling around, but Enzo yells at them to get out and get everyone else out. He gets to a few, but then an entire fleet of cops roll in.
Oh, no.
Cesare finds Enzo, and they hide, watching the pig rat bastards spread across the tannery. The cops are being led by the major, the guy that Enzo was just in a knife fight.
Oh, that son of a bitch.
He orders his men to gather anyone they find and charge them with conspiracy.
Conspiracy?
Like they've got tinfoil hats on.
Like, that's a little much.
Some of the cops dissipate, revealing that they were led here by that rat bastard Lombra.
Oh,
Lombra tells the Major that Teresi had this operation running right under your nose, and he demands that he get a reward, and then he'll be out of the Major's hair. The Major does not like Lombra and is like, shut the fuck up, but he is eager to take down more of the organized crime in Sicily. And as a reminder, Lombra is a rat pig fuck from the Spadaro family. So while he wasn't involved, he did find out about the Galante Teresi counterfeit business at some point, and he's the one that sold them out to the cops, and he's a piece of shit. You do not snitch.
absolute lowlife nothing.
Cesare and Enzo fucking hate both the rats and the pigs and the rat pig bastards. Cesare says he'll take care of the cash and the rat pig Lombra, and tells Enzo to warn their men and get them out of here and protect the counterfeiter Gillespie. Enzo sneaks through the tannery, knocking out cops when he can, and sending Teresi men out safely as he moves towards the counterfeit lab. I really like that there's the element of your sneaking, but also when you see a Teresi person, you're like, hey man, get the fuck out of here. And they're like, oh shit, you're right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you have to help your own.
Because it's also like, if he's in his area, it's because he cleared out the area behind him. So he's like, you're good, fucking run. They're like, thank God. Okay, I was hiding in like a bushel.
Oh,
When Enzo finds Gillespie has stabbed 2 cops to death and is exhausted.
oh, hell yeah, Gillespie.
And Enzo is like really impressed by this. He's like, oh my God, you killed 2 people. And he's like, yeah, I'm a counterfeiter. What do you want from? He's like, he's cool as fuck about it.
He's the safe cracker. He's not supposed to be the killer.
Yeah, but he swung his dick in this. He's like, hey man, I got some skills. And Enzo's like, honestly, slay.
All right then.
Enzo sends him out safely and heads up towards the cash supply to help Cesare. And then he hears Cesare screaming, and Gillespie's like, homie, you have to hurry up. Enzo shoots his way to the supply of cash where Cesare and Lombra are scrapping hard. Cesare is screaming and Lombra throws him across the room. The $20,000 are loaded into a car, and Lombra drives off with it, leaving Cesare and Enzo behind. They run to another car and tear ass after that rat pig fuck Lombra. Cesare is pissed on the drive, screaming about how much he hates that man. They tail Lombra, and then they see his car is pulled over. The cash is still in the car, but the rat pig fuck is gone, and they can't leave him out here in these streets. Enzo and Cesare go hunting, and Enzo finds Lombra. He holds him at gunpoint, and Lombra warns Enzo, if you kill me, you're gonna start a war.
Yeah, you will.
Lombra begins to monologue about some fake loyalty or some bullshit like that. And then Cesare comes up behind him and knocks him the fuck out with a shovel. It's like, it's the first time I'm like, fuck yeah, Cesare, you did that shit. Ultimately, though, Lombra is right. If it gets back to that the Teresi boys killed a Spadaro, it starts a war. So they drag Lombra's dead rat pig fuck body to the car he stole. They take the money out, and they set the car on fire with Lombra in it.
Yeah, just make it disappear.
They make it look like he stole the car and crashed and died.
Perfect.
They leave him on the side of the road, burning like the rat pig fuck that he is. 3 days later, Don Galante, Don Teresi, and Luca are waiting at a table in a warehouse. Don Spadaro enters, skeezy as ever, and subtly trying to show off his big-ass ring. Don Galante goes to greet him, personally thanking him for attending and assuring him of his safety at this meeting. Don Spadaro is flanked by Il Merlo, the slave runner from the mines. Piece of shit guy, big scar across his face.
Yeah, because of you.
Don Teresi says that a few days ago, one of his ventures had an unwelcome visit by the cops. The cops were led by one of his boys, and that incident cost him a great deal. The oath of peace was broken. Spadaro says that this is a serious accusation and asks, who made the claim? Luca answers him with Enzo and Cesare. Spadaro calls Enzo a Caruso, and Cesare a halfwit. I love that everyone knows how stupid he is. Like, it's not just in the Teresis where they, like, rib him for it. They're like, no, the other families know he's a fucking moron.
It's one of my favorite character tropes of being so dumb, everybody has to preface when talking about you how dumb you are.
Don Teresi reiterates, hey man, your dipshit rat pig fuck went to the cops on some bullshit and this needs to be made right. Merlo says, straight up, that's a lie. And Spadaro says that if Lombra did this, he acted alone. Don Teresi says simply, a man in your position should keep his dogs under control.
Damn right, honestly.
Don Galante reminds everyone to please be respectful in the neutral place. Don Teresi demands that this be made right, and Spadaro says he does not see anything to remedy. Spadaro and Il Merlo leave like the rat pig fucks that they are.
I like how he's like, no business on company ground.
Fully, but you cannot kill, but we can have a general meeting, and they're like, nope. Guess what we'd prefer? Months go by. Enzo is reading another letter from Isabella, their love secretly going strong. She says that her dad's been crazy paranoid lately, and there's way too many guys on the gates, so she can't sneak out, but she still loves him. He pockets the letter as Baron Fontanella pulls up to the Teresi estate. Enzo walks him up to Don Teresi's office, where Baron Fontanella tells Don Teresi he needs some assistance. He has a factory, and there's a bunch of workers demanding more pay and threatening to unionize. They've stopped working indefinitely.
Oh no.
The factory foreman is a guy named Lorenzetti, a friend of Don Teresi's, and is allegedly behind the strike.
You do not want to unionize against the fucking Mafia.
No, don't do that.
We've already proven that in this game.
Yeah.
And he's only gotten better at busting unions.
It's actually one of their strengths.
Oh no, buddy. You are in for it.
Don Teresi promises to handle it, and Baron Fontanella leaves. Luca and Enzo head out, and Luca says, this is honestly really weird. This is so out of character. Lorenzetti and Don Teresi are childhood friends. There's no reason he would turn his back on him. And Lorenzetti's a former union buster.
Okay, that is a little strange.
There has to be some shit going down. Enzo goes down to the factory to look into the drama and finds Spadaro mafiosos on site. They are fucking everywhere.
Oh no.
And they've barricaded Lorenzetti in his office and halted all production. Enzo kills as many rat pig fucks as he can, and he gets to Lorenzetti's office. He opens the door and finds Lorenzetti dying on the ground, gurgling. Lorenzetti says the bastards held him here, beat him, and took everything. And he tells Enzo, dead in his eyes, it was all Il Merlo. Enzo is like, oh my god, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Fucking Merlo.
Spadaro's family is beating down Fontanella's properties to advance his foothold in Sicily. Enzo tries to help Lorenzetti and get him up, but he's really battered, and eventually succumbs to his injuries.
Oh.
Enzo is suddenly shot at, and he ducks. He hears Il Merlo yelling at him, calling him a Caruso. Il Merlo taunts him, saying, oh, you can't help your friend? Wouldn't be the first time.
Fuck you.
Il Merlo brags that they're bleeding Fontanella dry and continues to shoot at Enzo and tell his men to smoke Enzo out. Il Merlo's rat pig fucks throw lanterns in and set fire to the office.
Jesus Christ.
Enzo shoots his way out as the fire spreads. The Spadaro shoot at him relentlessly and tell him that their boss wants him dead. Enzo kills as many as he can and leaves the factory as it burns to the ground. 3 hours later, at Villa Teresi, Tino goes to Don Teresi. He tells him the news. The foreman is dead and already cremated. Which I think is a very poor choice of words.
Like, yeah, because the place fucking burned down.
Yeah, like it's not a good follow-up, Tino. Read the room. Enzo found Lorenzetti beaten to death. Spadaro stripped the factory, and then they torched it. Spadaro is moving in on the whole valley. Don Teresi is furious. Because also, like, again, Lorenzetti's someone he grew up with.
Yeah.
This is someone he's worked with and he's trusted. This sucks.
Betrayal is what hurts the most about it.
Absolutely. He sees Fontanella as completely done. He's got no leverage now. Tino agrees and brings it back to them. This is about Teresi versus Spadaro. And Don Teresi agrees. If this is what Spadaro wants, this is how it'll be. He wants a war, he's gonna fucking get it. A few weeks later, entirety of Villa Teresi is buzzing. It's a big day today, both a saint day and the baptism of Luca's youngest son.
Oh.
It's also Luca's birthday, but that's fully not a real beat in the day. I found that out in like the wiki pages for this game. Like they don't talk about Luca at all.
They just leave that part out of it, but it is a fact of the game.
Yeah. Everyone is dressed so well. Everyone is so happy to have a family celebration. Everyone loves Luca, so they're so happy to see him with his second son and getting baptized. Oh, it's such a beautiful day. Don Teresi calls out to Enzo and tells him that Isabella is taking fucking forever to get ready, and he needs to leave now. So you sit here and wait for my daughter to get ready and then drive her ass down. we're rolling out.
Women, am I right?
He really kind of hits that of like, she's still combing her fucking hair. We have to go. The whole villa pours out to head out to the church while Enzo waits for Isabella alone. She comes down just after everyone leaves, gleeful that she has her own personal chauffeur. And he tells her that she is worth the wait. They drive and talk. Isabella is super excited because they haven't had a big family celebration like this in fucking forever. And it's just so nice when everyone's together. Valentina and Isabella are pretty close, and she's so happy for her and Luca. Don Teresi is the godfather of their son, so it's a fully, deeply connected family thing right here. Just everyone loves each other. Enzo's just happy to be here. They talk a bit about how, oh God, they just want to be together. Someday they'll have a house and a family and live like a normal couple. They get to the big city church with yearning on their minds. Isabella wants to go look at the market for a bit before going inside, and while she looks, Enzo goes to the florist and buys her a flower. He goes to Isabella and tells her that someday it'll be both of them in that church in front of God and Sicily with her father's blessing. He promises to be patient because she is worth the wait, and he gives her the flower. She puts the flower in her hair and is over the moon that he is truly committed to her. After their secret promise, they go to join the family. Inside the church, Valentina and Luca hold their tiny baby as he gets baptized. Father Sassone delivers the service and the family is beaming. Outside, due to it being a saint day, the town is celebrating with a parade, and there's flowers, there's light. It's just so gorgeous. After the service, Luca and his family, along with the larger Teresi family, gathers to take a photo. Luca turns to Enzo and tells him, "Hey man, get yourself a girl, and this'll be you soon enough." Enzo smiles, knowing secretly he's been working on it for years, baby.
He's been laying that seed for a while.
Girl. The photographer gets ready to take the photo when the man next to Enzo is sniped through the face.
Oh, I was waiting for some bullshit to occur.
You knew.
I was like, everybody's too happy. What's gonna fucking happen?
You're emphasizing the joy too much. Something horrible's happening.
God.
His body explodes with blood and he falls to the floor. The family is struck with shock. Enzo turns up and looks to see Il Merlo with a rifle on the top of the church in the bell tower.
Oh my God.
From a church is fucking crazy.
That is insane.
Enzo yells that it's an assassin, and Luca covers his wife and child and runs them to cover. Don Teresi runs Isabella away to coverage, and Tino looks around in shock. Don Teresi is furious. This is not only a holy day, this is a family day, and those are off limits. This is some real bullshit.
We're on holy ground, literally.
He gets his family into a building for cover, and Enzo tells Luca to keep everyone safe. Enzo and Cesare go through the market and get ready to take care of this bastard. They love to call people bastards in this game.
Oh, I love that.
Enzo and Cesare use a cart as coverage to get closer to the church, and Cesare catches a bullet in the knee.
Oh, no.
And if it's below the knee, that's not attempted murder. Just, on a legal
Just
note,
putting that out there.
If you do shoot someone below the knee, it is, in most courts, it is not attempted murder. It's just aggravated assault. It doesn't matter why I know that. Enzo makes sure Cesare Enzo's taking care of Cesare. He's like, you've got cover, you're good. I will be right back. Cesare tells him, hey, I'll try and cause a distraction. Get to the church, kill that bastard.
Get to the church and kill somebody is insane.
Such a cool thing to scream. Enzo runs through the market back to the church while Cesare shoots wildly at Il Merlo to keep him busy. In the church, Enzo runs upstairs to the bell tower and rolls up on Il Merlo. Il Merlo stops shooting and goes to fight Enzo. Enzo looks him in the eye and says, long way from the mines. Enzo knocks Il Merlo's gun out of his hands and off of the bell tower, initiating a knife fight.
The way it should be.
They fight for a bit before Il Merlo runs off like the rat pig bastard fuck he is.
Oh, come on.
Luca arrives with a gun and tells Enzo he's here, but Enzo sends him off to focus on keeping the family safe. Enzo's like, your children are here, dude. Stop trying to follow me. I'll shoot everyone in this motherfucker. Enzo runs after Il Merlo across the roofs of the church and across the actual roofs of the homes.
Oh,
and,
roof chase. That's great.
It's so cool because the church is so big. Like, there's a couple roofs and then you drop into the area of town with, like, houses and shit. Oh, it's so fucking cool.
Oh, that's so cool.
Enzo chases Il Merlo through the town and it eventually ends in a dead end on a square near a cafe. Knife fight picks up again, and they fight dirtier and meaner, taking cheap shots and screaming out of the years of pain Ilmerlo has been causing Enzo. Ilmerlo pushes Enzo and runs off again, because, guess what?
Rat fucking bastard.
Big rat
Yeah.
whatever variation of that I was saying. They run and fall off of a roof onto a hard cobblestone ground. Ilmerlo gets up and runs to join other Spadaro bastards with guns. Enzo seems alone until Luca catches up again and is like, hey, the family's fine. Let me fucking fight. I got you.
He's like, yeah, and you have a family that you need to protect, so get the fuck out of here.
He's like, homie, you know how you have a baby that's baptism age?
Yeah.
Get back to the baby.
Keep this family safe.
Luca hands Enzo a gun and joins him in the fight. They chase the Spadaro bastards and shoot at them and eventually see Ilmerlo drive off. Enzo steals a horse and chases after them.
Oh, chasing a car on a horse. That's great.
Horsepower, baby, let's go. They ride out of the city and into the countryside for a while until Ilmerlo crashes the car near a downed tree. Enzo follows and finds Ilmerlo exhausted and useless.
Exhausted? You were in the car, bitch.
The knife fight continues again, and each time we pick up the knife fight, his health bar is down where you left it, which is kind of nice. It's kind of timed out. We're like at the quarter mark. We move on to this next set, but it's such a long knife fight through so many sets. It feels so much fun to keep going. You're like, come on, let me fucking kill him.
No, this is great.
The knife fight continues and Ilmerlo tops Enzo, knocking their knives away and strangling him. Enzo kicks and struggles to breathe, and then it all stops.
Oh.
A bullet flies through Ilmerlo's head and he drops.
Oh.
Luca stands there, smoking gun in hand.
Hell yeah, finally.
Luca helps Enzo up and Enzo spits on Ilmerlo's dead body. Which means a lot in this culture as well.
No, fully.
Enzo looks at Luca and says, you saved me again. Luca looks at him with pure love and brotherhood. They turn and leave Ilmerlo to rot. A week or so later, Don Teresi is meeting with Baron Fontanella and Don Galante. Baron Fontanella confronts Don Teresi with a newspaper claiming a mafia war and tells Don Teresi the war has to stop. There is too much bloodshed. Don Teresi simply tells him, you do not tell me what is too far. Baron Fontanella heard that people from Rome are coming down to investigate the alleged organized crime in Sicily. Like, they are in trouble. And he reiterates, no more people should die. Don Teresi stands up offended. Spadaro attacked his family at a fucking baptism.
Right.
Spadaro burned down Fontanella's factory, ruining him financially. Don Teresi simply says, cowardice is paid in misery. He's so fucking cool.
I love this guy.
Baron Fontanella asked Don Teresi to talk to Spadaro, find a truce, stop the war. Don Galante tells Don Teresi, there are no spoils at the end of this war. Settle a peace, and there will be ways to win. Baron Fontanella offers to set up a meeting to discuss a peace treaty, and begrudgingly, Don Teresi agrees to meet. Baron Fontanella and Don Galante are relieved to know they can at least swing for peace and agree to get it set up in a neutral place. Don Galante promises his family will enforce peace within the meeting to ensure safety for everyone involved. The day of the meeting comes, and Enzo is at Villa Teresi. He sneaks to Isabella's room, runs in, and gives her a big old wet kiss.
Hell yeah.
She says she hasn't seen him in weeks. She was worried, but he assures her the war with Spadaro will be over soon. And Don Teresi trusts him, and he tells her their future is just right there. Just wait a little longer. She tells him she loves him, but she's sick of this lifestyle, and, you know, I just think we need to talk. I want to talk to you later. They hear Cesare screaming, and Enzo's like, okay, I hear you. I love and we have to talk conversation, but I have to go, so goodbye.
Pause on this conversation just for right now.
He kisses her goodbye and promises he'll find her later. We're just not going to talk right now. I have to go kill people. Sorry, babe, bye. Enzo finds Cesare, who says, oh, God, good. I need you to find Luca. We're rolling out soon. Enzo finds Luca being yelled at by Valentina. She's like, hey, man, we have a new fucking baby. You can't be out here playing fucking gunslingers and gangsters and all this shit.
No, we keep telling you this over and over again.
He promises her the same thing Enzo promised Isabella. The war will be over soon and it'll all calm down. Luca is glad Enzo interrupts him while he's getting his ass torn up by his wife, and they leave to drive out for the meeting.
These boys just keep rescuing each other from their wives.
Yeah. They're like, these fucking gals, am I right? Let's go shoot someone. Enzo drives the boys out to the meeting point where they arrive, and Luca tells Cesare to stay outside because you're useless and you talk too much.
Entirely.
Enzo, Luca, and Don Teresi enter a boathouse, their neutral meeting point. Leo is outside to welcome Team Teresi. He says Don Galante and Spadaro are already inside. Don Teresi joins Spadaro, Don Galante, and Baron Fontanella at a table. Don Teresi begins by saying he is here on the promise to find a settlement. It's tense, and immediately Spadaro is being a little bitch boy, but they do agree that war is bad for business overall. Spadaro offers a solution and says, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy out Baron Fontanella of all his land. Since his factory burned down, he's had a huge cash flow problem. I'll fix that. I'm going to pay him out. He'll be good. But that means I will own all of the land. All the land that Don Teresi has been operating out of and living on.
See, that is always the fucking rub, isn't it?
You gotta own your own shit.
Yeah, like McDonald's.
This is McDonald's. Yeah, Tom, it's the same. Baron Fontanella looks at Don Teresi and says he has no choice. He's out of money. Spadaro tells Don Teresi he can offer him market rate for the remaining holdings of his operations. Don Teresi is fucking furious that Spadaro and Baron Fontanella have been pulling this bullshit behind his back and planning all this and expecting him to just, turn over and walk away from his fucking empire? This includes his fucking family home.
This is exactly what they were expecting.
Don Teresi asks if he's actually serious, and Baron Fontanella asks him to not stand in the way of progress. Which I fucking hated so much seeing him. I was like, don't you dare talk to him, my boy, like that.
Not at all.
Don Teresi raises his voice and says, this is an affront. Spadaro says, well, this is not being well received. I'm going to talk to the Baron separately for a more appeasing solution. Which is also him being like, you're raising your voice. Like, you're being an asshole.
Yeah, it's yelling, stop shouting at me.
Yes. Spadaro stands and leaves the table. Baron Fontanella follows after him. Don Teresi asks if Don Galante knew about this, and he says, oh my god, I absolutely did not, I swear. Baron Fontanella asks Spadaro to try again. He thinks maybe he can convince Don Teresi. Spadaro simply says, no, and leaves the building. Don Teresi sits numb with Luca and Enzo standing ready by him. This shit is rough for everyone, and the idea that they could just buy out Don Teresi is a slap in the face.
Yeah.
Don Teresi looks at Don Galante, searching for a solution. But it's all shattered as a bullet shoots through Don Galante's face.
Of course it does.
Don Teresi is shocked, and the Teresi boys hit the deck. The Spadaro boys have flanked the room and begin open firing on Team Teresi. Enzo pulls Don Teresi down out of the fire line, and as Luca turns the table over for cover, he's shot in the chest and arm.
Ooh.
Luca slides his gun to Enzo and drops down to tend to his wound. Don Teresi tends to Luca and has Enzo focusing on shooting. Enzo clears a path, and Don Teresi slings Luca over his shoulder and carries him through the boathouse. They begin to leave and see all the other Teresi mafioso dead, slaughtered by Spadaro while they were meeting and hoping for peace.
Oof.
There's no sign of Cesare. Leo is thankfully alive and shooting at the Spadaro men. He helps guide Enzo and Don Teresi to safety. He also hasn't seen Cesare. It's fucking chaos. They get to the gates and find Cesare, who has a full flatbed truck ready to go.
Hell yeah.
Enzo packs everyone in with Luca in the back with himself and Don Teresi, and they ride off. Leo is shaken. Cesare is panicked, and in the back, Luca is bleeding.
Oh no. The one that he kept saying, stay the fuck out of the fight.
Yeah. He's the only one that caught bullets.
No way.
Don Teresi dotes over Luca and hands Enzo a rifle, telling him to cover them while they get away. And indeed, a few cars are tailing their truck, so Enzo shoots them off the road. Leo is screaming that those fuckers will pay for what they did to his grandfather. Don Teresi is telling everyone to shut the fuck up. Luca's gonna be fine. Enzo, just keep shooting. They make it to a bar on their territory, and Leo and Don Teresi pull Luca out and get him inside. Don Teresi tells Enzo and Cesare to hold the line. No one gets in. Cesare and Enzo shoot out everyone, and once the waves of Spadaro rat pig fucks stop, they head inside and join the others. Enzo runs to Luca's side, and Leo tells him to hold pressure on the gunshot wounds. Cesare runs to get morphine from the girls for him. This happens to also be a brothel, so
Of course it is.
Cesare
There's always a brothel.
Cesare knows everyone that works here. Enzo holds his friend, his savior, and tells him he's going to be all right. Luca gurgles blood and says, God forgive me. He looks and sees Enzo and says, Enzo, get out. If you can, get out. Enzo holds him as the light from Luca's eyes disappear.
So this family man died in a brothel on top of it.
Oh my God. Oh, Valentina's going to be pissed. This is not going to go well.
Oh, God. And fucking Enzo's going to be the one that has to explain that shit.
Hey, girl. Knowing this, Cesare's going to do it and be like, hey, Valentina, guess what happened?
Died in a brothel. Not what you think.
Yeah. It's like the really good one, though. You know the girls I fuck?
Yeah.
I can't afford them. Luca is dead. Enzo screams for Luca. Cesare comes downstairs with the morphine and stops in his tracks, seeing Luca's body unmoving. Cesare goes to put his arm around Enzo, and Enzo furiously throws him off. They stand together, destroyed at seeing Luca gone. Don Teresi numbly stares off in the bar, heartbroken. The heat cools off, and Enzo goes back to his apartment. Deep in the night, he gets a knock at the door saying the Don wants to see him. Enzo gets changed and goes outside to see Cesare picking him up. They get on horseback and commiserate that everything is hell right now. Cesare tells Enzo that Tino has guards fucking everywhere, watching all the roads for the Spadaro rat pig fucks. Cesare says Don Teresi has a job for them, and only them, and it's something big, and he only wants his most trusted boys on it. Cesare and Enzo are the only two that the Don can trust now with Luca dead, and they're going to have to step up their game. Enzo can't focus. He's overcome with grief that Luca's gone, and he says it feels wrong to do anything without him. They get to Villa Teresi, where Don Teresi is waiting for them in the cellar. That's also where they're holding Luca's body until the burial. Don Teresi wants to spend as much time with Luca as he can, knowing that body will soon be in the ground. Cesare says he's never seen his uncle like this before, ever. Cesare and Enzo enter the cellar, and Don Teresi says, you did good. Sit. Enzo and Cesare go to sit, and Don Teresi corrects him, saying, not you, to Cesare.
Oh.
Cesare protests a bit, and Don Teresi tells him, I have something to discuss with Enzo. I won't say it again. Cesare is deflated, but turns to leave the cellar. Enzo goes to Don Teresi, who's standing over Luca's body. Don Teresi says, betrayal burns because it can only come from someone close. An enemy could never hurt you like a friend.
Mm-hmm.
In hell, the lowest circle is reserved for sinners guilty of treachery.
Yep.
Enzo knows this is not a good time to say he's been fucking Don Teresi's daughter. Don Teresi says that Fontanella made a choice and Spadaro can't stop now. He says that everything they have will be lost unless they do what they can't expect. Enzo stares into Luca's eyes, glazed over with immediate decay. He tells Don Teresi, I'll do anything for Luca, for this family. Don Teresi reaches out and holds Enzo, saying, I know you would. He stands and tells Enzo that Spadaro and Baron Fontanella are sealing their sellout deal tonight at the Opera in Palermo. They're cocky because they think the Teresi family is finished. And Enzo says, I'm going to make those bastards pay.
Hell yeah, you are.
Don Teresi tells Enzo, for your loyalty, this family will owe you a great debt. Maybe you can fuck my daughter. Enzo swallows this truth, and Don Teresi sends him off to the opera house. Enzo leaves the cellar and goes to leave, but is grabbed by the elbow and thrown into a closet.
Oh, shit.
He turns and sees Isabella. She demands to know what her father asked him to do. He tells her simply, he needs to take care of something and he won't be gone for long. And Isabella says, that's what Luca told Valentina. He tells her he has to do this for Luca. And Isabella yells, there's nothing that can be done for Luca. Luca died for my father, for his honor, and I won't let you do the same. She stops for a moment and holds his hand and says, I'm pregnant. Enzo is stunned. Isabella says, I need you here with me. She beams at him and he says simply, I have no choice.
Oh my god, dude, you just yelled at Luca for all of this shit.
Her joy turns to fury and she says, "This would have been an easy decision for the man I thought you were."
Ooh, wow.
She waddles her pregnant ass out of there.
Waddles already.
No, she's not. I just thought it'd be funny if she immediately started showing the second she decides to tell people.
Yeah.
Leaving Enzo alone in the dark. Enzo waits a minute before leaving, still knowing his pregnant girlfriend has to be a secret.
Oh.
Enzo leaves and Cesare calls to him, asking where he's going. Enzo is quiet, saying he just has to take care of something. Cesare is steaming with jealousy, but tells him to come back in one piece. Enzo goes to a wagon driver who takes him out to Palermo, where the opera house is. He can ride up front until they get closer. Then, because of the heavy police activity, he'll have to hide in the back of the wagon. The trip takes all day, and they arrive in the evening to Palermo. Outside the opera house, there's a newsie selling papers, barking about how anarchists are targeting the government and how unstable the world is right now. Cops are everywhere, and security is especially high for the opera, where the rich and powerful are gathering. Inside the opera house, Baron Fontanella and Spadaro are meeting. Baron Fontanella thanks him for meeting at the opera. They have to keep up appearances, after all. Spadaro tells him to stop stalling and sign over Don Teresi's land to him, and then he can get paid. Baron Fontanella is still hesitant and says, "I don't know, maybe there's another way?" But Spadaro tells him to shut the fuck up and sign the papers. It's been long enough. Baron Fontanella looks sad, knowing he's legally solidifying his betrayal of Don Teresi. Spadaro orders a bottle of something expensive. Like, he literally says, "Bring me something expensive."
Don't care what it is, just as long as it's expensive.
He's the fucking worst. I hate new money.
Right.
Enzo hides in the back of the wagon as it clanks toward the opera house. Under the sheath of night, he looks in his pocket at the Empire Bay postcard he never let go of. He looks at it, reminding himself of the future with Isabella that he's fighting for. Enzo is dropped off at a church where Father Clemente leads Enzo into the sewers of the city and guides him to a ladder that leads to the basement of the opera house. Enzo asks how a religious man knows about all these secret paths, and he says, "I wasn't always a man of God." Enzo enters and sneaks and kills his way to the royal box where Baron Fontanella is seated. He enters as the crowd stands to applaud the opera performers. He puts his hand over Baron Fontanella's mouth and whispers, "Your greed saw a good man die. People mourn him. Who the fuck will grieve for you?"
Oh.
Enzo slides his knife across Baron Fontanella's throat.
Oh.
The blood drips from his box down to the audience below.
Oh my god.
Spadaro enters Baron Fontanella's box and sees Enzo and turns and runs.
Holy shit.
Enzo lets go of Baron Fontanella, who gurgles as he tumbles out of their box seats and into the orchestra seats below. The audience screams and begin to pour out of the theater in a panic. Spadaro sends his gooners into the box to close in on Enzo. Enzo shoots his way through the Spadaro rat pig fucks through the opera house. The firefight creates an actual fire and the stage is engulfed in flames.
Oh, that's so cool.
Enzo kills more and more Spadaro rat pig fucks while he hunts his way to the root of the problem, the head of the snake, Spadaro. He hears Spadaro's voice barking at his men and follows the echoes of mediocrity down into the sewers. Spadaro runs away and yells that Enzo will die as a Caruso, and Enzo says, "You want to kill me? Fucking face me." The sewers lead into an old world ruined area in an ancient burial site with secret paths. Enzo corners Spadaro in a gated room lined with statues of saints looking down at them. Spadaro hides and then jumps out, pushing a knife at Enzo's stomach, but Enzo catches the blade.
Oh, good.
Enzo pushes Spadaro off and brandishes his own knife. Spadaro tells him, "You know, your father sold you to me for 100 lira, and he got a good deal."
Fuck off.
Enzo calls his bullshit, saying, "You don't remember him. Until I cut open a man's face, I was no one. But now you know me." Spadaro spits at him and laughs, saying, "Look at you. Has anything changed? You're 100 miles away from that pit you crawled out from, but you're still doing a master's bidding. A man chooses, a slave obeys."
Fuck
He
you.
doesn't say that. He doesn't say that. But I think we should drink. Take a bio shot.
Take a bio shot for that one.
Season
Definitely.
11.
Yes, your first bio shot of the season.
I forgot I wrote that into my notes and was like, "Oh, right." Enzo tells him plainly, You killed Luca Trapani, and I'll make you answer for that. And with that, the knife fight begins. Enzo and Spadaro stab at each other, and Enzo ends up with the upper hand and stabs Spadaro directly in the middle of the neck.
Oh, in the throat. Oh, it's so great.
Enzo drives the knife deep and brings Spadaro to his knees and then to the ground. On the floor, Spadaro's blood pools behind his head. Enzo pulls his knife out and wipes the rat pig fuck's blood off on Spadaro's suit. Enzo looks down at his work, down at Spadaro's hand, and pulls that big stupid ring off.
Hell yeah.
Exhausted, Enzo stands and he hears a door open. He readies his gun, but doesn't shoot. In walks Father Clemente. Father Clemente looks at Spadaro's body and says, big night, I gather? He's the coolest priest here. Like, he's so fucking rad.
Oh, but when a priest is jaded by a dead body, you know they've seen some shit.
Enzo sees a knocked out body behind the father who says, you know what? The Lord forgives, but Don Teresi does not. Besides, that guy raised a weapon at a man of God. I was justified. Father Clemente ushers Enzo out and leads him to the back of a wagon. Enzo heads back home through the dead of night as the police swarm the city looking for him. In the morning, Enzo walks into Don Teresi's office. He pulls Spadaro's ring out of his pocket and presents it to Don Teresi, saying, "It's done. Both of them."
Like a fucking trophy.
Don Teresi picks up the ring, rotating it in his big-ass hands. Don Teresi smiles and calls him his most dutiful soldier. He kisses Enzo's cheeks and says, "A new world is upon us, Enzo. I'll need men like you by my side." Enzo stands, numb. Don Teresi tells him, "You did right by Luca. You did right by this family. I'm proud of what you've become." Enzo thanks him and turns to leave. Before Enzo gets to the door, Don Teresi says, "We buried him, by the way. He's up by the chapel. Go pay your respects when you're ready." Enzo leaves, closing the door behind him. Enzo goes up to the chapel, seeing a string of Teresi family all in black, talking about how Valentina is unraveling. Enzo goes to Luca's grave, which is higher on the hill, overlooking the vineyard. His headstone is covered in flowers. Enzo says, "I'm sorry, Luca. You gave everything, but it wasn't enough. Your boys have lost a father, and I know you'll understand what I have to do. I was willing to die for this family. Now I have to live for my own." The chapel doors open and Isabella leaves the chapel, seeing Enzo and going to him. Isabella's eyes light up hearing Enzo commit to leaving this life behind for their family. She tells him the Father Sassone gave a good service for Luca. And Enzo says, "What you told me about our child, I'm so sorry, I didn't know what to say. I will never leave you again, Isabella. I won't die for another man's pride. And I promise that our child will have everything we never had." She says that they can't stay here, and Enzo says, "Then we leave together to America when the time is right." She's kind of on a ticking time clock right now, so she needs a pretty hard out because The Secret will be out very soon.
Yeah.
Isabella beams at him and says, "Then you choose to be the man I love." And he says, "I choose us and our family." He puts his hand on her belly. Just a few weeks later, Enzo is checking in with the Don and Tino at a remote farmhouse. Enzo enters and sees Don Teresi and Tino punching a man tied to a chair. Don Teresi looks at Enzo and says, "Just the man I wanted to see." He comes to Enzo and puts his arm around him, admiring the bleeding man. He says, "You know, they all tell the truth in the end." Don Teresi kicks the man in the chair over and goes to clean the blood off his hands. Don Teresi tells Enzo, "I told you this family owes you a great debt. Now I'm in a position to make you whole. You have my respect, my gratitude. Now, that sulfur mine you crawled out of belongs to me.
Ooh, wow.
And you know how it works, so you're in charge.
Oh, shit.
This will make you a very rich man, Enzo. You'll have everything you ever wanted." Don Teresi leaves Enzo with Tino, saying Tino knows how to finalize all the paperwork and everything. As Don Teresi leaves, he tells Enzo again he's proud of him. Now, Tino's never really liked Enzo, and he has Enzo pick up the man Don Teresi just beat to death and put him in the car. Tino tells Enzo to drive to a nearby farm and leave the body in the pig shit where he belongs. Tino joins him, and on the drive, Tino explains that 3 of Spadaro's soldiers are still around, and they need to be taken care of for a smooth transition of power. The guy in the back gave Tino and Don Teresi enough information to find out where the last 3 guys are. Tino also tells Enzo that, the day after Baron Fontanella's funeral, his son Gennaro came to Don Teresi with a deal. Don Teresi gets the mine, Gennaro Fontanella gets to marry Isabella. Enzo swallows his rage.
Oh, no. He gets everything he ever wanted, but at what fucking cost?
Love. Money or love, Tom? You can only have one.
Oh, my God.
They get to the pig farm, and there's this guy there who dug a hole for the body. Enzo grabs the body and walks to the hole. Tino shoots the guy who dug it and says, "Good, you made it big enough for 2.
Jesus Christ.
Enzo was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? You're 80 years old. Stop doing this." And Tino explains that the guy that dug the hole was also doing business with the Spadaros. So fuck that guy.
Yeah, I guess so.
Enzo drops the second body in there, and Tino tells him to go to the vineyard and meet with Cesare. Enzo heads out and is like, "God, I fucking hate being in the Mafia." Cesare is standing in front of a bunch of those, loose crates. Enzo is like, "What is this?" And Cesare says, "I don't know. It's a bunch of junk from the mine. Isn't that your job? Don't you know what this is?" And Enzo goes, "I found out about the job 45 minutes ago." Cesare says, "All right, we just have to kill those last 3 Spadaros, and then we're good. I'm going to send you after one of them. I'll take the other. After that, we'll meet up and kill the third one. Easy several hours job." Before heading out, Enzo asks about Valentina, and he goes to check in on her. She's always been so sweet to him, and, she's friends with Isabella. He wants to take care of Valentina.
Yeah, I got it.
He finds her in the kitchen with Isabella. Without saying a word, Valentina looks at Enzo and silently leaves. Isabella looks at Enzo and tells him, "Hey, I'm ready. When can we leave?" And he says, "Soon. I just have one more thing I have to do." Isabella is nervous and says, "Hey, I really need you to hurry up because Tino's been, watching me. He's been more and more suspicious. And he promises, hey, I'll be careful. We'll be careful. We got this." They kiss, and Enzo leaves the kitchen. He steps out of the kitchen, and Valentina's still there, and she asks to speak to him. He tells her he wants to give her something and pulls out a fat stack of cash for the boys.
Hell yeah.
She protests a bit, but then thanks him and tells him quietly, "Enzo, take that girl and find a better life for the 3 of you before it's too late." He promises he will, but he has to be careful with the timing so they don't get caught. I love that she has his back. She's like, "I know what you're doing. You're fucking my friend.
Yeah.
But I want you to be safe because I think you are probably good for her."
Go be the man that I'm not going to have anymore.
Yeah. And she's mourning. This must be so hard for her.
Yeah.
Enzo heads out to Killin. He drives deep into the forest and finds one of their associates who's been hunting the Spadaro guys. He points Enzo up to an old village, and he finds a small hideout of Spadaro foot soldiers, still loyal to the last Spadaro rat pig fuck standing. Enzo clears out the encampment, killing everyone in sight. With that taken care of, he heads out to meet Cesare. Cesare is still in the middle of killing his guy, and there's a bunch of Spadaros here. The boys shoot down most of them, but the one they were looking for takes off. The Spadaro drives down to the coast, and Enzo and Cesare chase him down to kill him. With only one more prominent Spadaro left, Enzo and Cesare roll out. Cesare says Tino has information on the last one, so they go to meet him in a nearby village. On the way, Cesare asks Enzo if he's still committed to this family. Enzo is like, "What the fuck do you think? Of course I'm here. I just want the war to be over, but I'm obviously still here.
Yeah.
I'm about to leave, but..." Cesare says that's good. He'll need Enzo now that the family is the dominant family in all of Sicily. And Enzo goes, "Yeah, we know that. You're being weird." They arrive and find Tino standing over a bloodied body. He asks if the others are taken care of, and Enzo confirms they are. Tino says the last one is cowering in the church and sends them off. Cesare and Enzo head up to kill the last of the Spadaros. There are admittedly a lot of them around this village they encounter and kill on their way to their church, but it's a really good shootout. I like it.
It's 3 plus henchmen.
Enzo and Cesare approach the church, where Father Sassone is standing out front. He begs them not to enter. Please don't kill anyone on church grounds. Tino joins them as Cesare screams inside that all the other men are dead. Come out. Let us kill you. Enzo tells Father Sassone, "Yeah, I think you should leave."
Yeah.
The last Spadaro bursts out of the church door saying, "Please don't shoot. I'm unarmed." Cesare mocks him for hiding behind a priest. Spadaro says, "You got me. I'm the last one. But look, I have a wife and a son. Please don't shoot me." Cesare and Tino both command Enzo to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Father Sissoni begs loudly, praying for guidance from the Lord. Tino continues to give guidance to Enzo to shoot this prick. Enzo shoots him, and the man's body crumbles. Father Sissoni says, "He begged for mercy. This is a house of God." Tino approaches, saying, "And yet you let him in. You serve a higher power, and it isn't our Lord Almighty. We need to clear up a few things, you and me."
Oh, no.
Tino turns to Enzo and Cesare and says, "Don't worry about this," gesturing to the corpse. He says, "The Father knows how to turn a blind eye when he wants to."
Uh-oh.
Tino pushes Father Sissoni in the church and follows after him. He needs to have a word with the Father about loyalty and who really runs these streets. Just so menacing.
Right?
Enzo and Cesare head off to a bar to cool off after the murder spree. Cesare is doing shots with random men and working women while Enzo drinks quietly. Drunk, Cesare addresses Enzo, calling him the king of the Carusi, which is fucked up. He tells him, "You know, the world is ours now, and you're moving up in it. Just don't forget about the rest of us down here." Enzo says, "What the fuck does that mean?" Cesare apologizes and says, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just fucking happy for you." And then he turns to go harass women in their place of work. Leo Galante is at the bar and sees Cesare take 2 women upstairs and smiles. He goes to Enzo and says, "Hey man, you know that thing we talked about? If you go, stay gone. That's my advice." Leo slides an envelope to Enzo. Enzo opens it discreetly and finds 2 tickets for a ship to America.
Oh.
Enzo smiles to himself, holding his literal ticket out of here. Leo tells him, "You know what, man? All my business is done here. We'll be on our way soon. Inside there's an address for a cousin. You get over the water, you write to him. He'll know where we wash up." Enzo tucks his freedom back into the envelope and earnestly thanks Leo. They hug and shake hands, and Leo wishes him the best of luck. Enzo says he'll see him soon and leaves the bar. Leo stays back and pours himself a drink, saying, "Justice is ours." He raises his glass to a painting of his grandfather on the wall and says, "Here's to you, old man." Soon after, Enzo is driving. He has all his shit ready to go. He just has to go get Isabella, and they're golden. He looks at his Empire Bay postcard, knowing it's closer than ever. In the distance, the volcano begins to pour smoke from its spout. He pulls up to a house in the city, and Valentina answers the door, looking around past Enzo for any prying eyes. She opens the door, and Isabella is standing there, beaming and ready to go. Isabella goes to hug Valentina one last time before saying, "Oh shit, hold on. She has something for her." Valentina gives Isabella a wrapped gift for the baby. Isabella thanks her, picks up her bag, and goes to Enzo. Valentina tells Enzo to watch after her, and Enzo promises he will. Enzo goes to the car with Isabella, and they set off on the road to the train station so they can get to the docks. Isabella hopes Valentina will be okay. She's worried about the volcano. She's at least grateful that people are staying inside to avoid the volcano, so there are fewer people on the roads. Enzo promises her the moment they step foot on that boat, they're free. They arrive at the train station and kiss openly in the car. They're not afraid anymore. They're free. He tells her there's so much he wanted to tell her, but he couldn't find the words. He pulls out an envelope and says, "Everything I want to say is here." She takes the envelope and smiles. Then, Enzo pulls out a small wooden carved horse, the same kind he had in the mines.
Oh.
The same kind he had when he was young.
His one toy.
He says, "I had one just like this when I was a boy, but our child's life will be different. I promise you that."
He'll have more than one toy.
Yeah. She takes the horse and smiles. They get out of the car and walk hand in hand to the train. On the platform as they go to enter, they stop dead in their tracks. They hear, "Leaving without saying goodbye?"
God damn it.
And they look up to see Tino.
Come on.
Men begin to encroach on them from every angle.
I have not liked this guy.
They are surrounded. From around a corner, Cesare steps forward as Enzo gets pinned down. Tino walks up to him and says, "I always knew you were trouble, Caruso. Now you're going to get what's coming to you."
Fuck.
Another mafioso holds Isabella's arms behind her back. Tino turns to Isabella and tells her that You know, Father Sassoni told me about your dirty little secret, that it broke your father's heart.
No, the fucking priest? That's like the one person that's not supposed to do that shit.
He tells her, so much for the sanctity of the confessional.
Exactly. That's like the fucking rule.
I hated it so much. It made me so angry.
Oh, that priest. He needs to go down.
Isabella calls him a bastard man and spits at him. Tino tells Isabella, your sins may be absolved. You know, your father made an arrangement, and he points his gun at Isabella's stomach.
No.
Enzo thrashes and screams no. Tina has Isabella taken back to Villa Teresi. Enzo promises and screams that he'll find her. Enzo gets punched in the back of the head and gets knocked out.
The fuck?
Enzo wakes up tied in the back of a truck with Cesare yelling at him. Cesare is furious, saying he could have had any girl in Sicily, but he had to pick Isabella. Enzo tells him simply he loves her. Cesare is so mad he can't think straight. He brings up loyalty. He brings up the blood oath. Enzo begs Cesare that nothing bad happens to Isabella or the baby, please. They're all he has left. Cesare tells him to shut up. He thought they were friends. The truck stops and they've arrived at the mines Enzo escaped all those years ago. Cesare walks Enzo down to the offices of the mine to a door that had Enzo's name engraved on it. Inside is Don Teresi. Don Teresi has Cesare cut Enzo loose, and then he punches Enzo in the stomach. Enzo tells Don Teresi he loves her. He loves Isabella. Don Teresi keeps punching Enzo in the stomach and tells him, I let you into my family and you betray me from the start. Enzo doesn't fight back as Don Teresi keeps hitting him. Don Teresi throws him on the desk and starts choking Enzo, calling him a Caruso, asking if Enzo thought he would allow him to ruin her. He lets go of Enzo and says, Isabella will marry who I tell her to marry, and that's the new Baron Fontanella. I have a doctor that will wipe every trace of you from this earth. Do you understand?
Oh, God.
Cesare watches on as his uncle beats the shit out of his best friend. He finally steps in and is like, hey, man. But Don Teresi stops him, saying, Enzo was a member of our brotherhood, and now he's nothing. Don Teresi shoves Cesare and says, show me you have what it takes. You want to be someone? Take your knife and end him. Cut his fucking throat.
No.
Cesare pulls out his knife and the room begins to shake. Through the window, the volcano begins to spew lava.
Oh, perfect timing.
Cesare and Don Teresi look on, with Cesare walking toward the window for a better look. Enzo takes his chance and grabs Cesare and jumps through the window.
Yeah.
They tumble through and down the ground of the second-story building. Their bodies tumble down the pits of the mine site and they fall far away from the building. Enzo is hurt but picks up his knife and stands. Cesare sees this and jumps up, brandishing his knife and says, no, there's only one way out of this. You knew this when you said those words. Enzo tells him, look at the mountain. We're going to be buried here. And Cesare says, well, then I'll make this quick. They begin a knife fight. Not one they want to be in, but one their society forced them into. It's a desperate fight where Cesare screams at Enzo, asking why none of it was good enough for him, and why Isabella. Enzo eventually gets the upper hand on Cesare and gets his knife away from him. Defeated, Cesare kneels on the ground and tells Enzo to just do it.
Yeah.
Enzo pauses, and Cesare yells, why won't you do it? Enzo stops. He simply tells Cesare, you're my friend. Cesare accepts this fate, to live by the hands of Enzo.
Shit.
Exhausted, Cesare tells Enzo, you know, it could have all been yours. He gave you everything. Enzo turns to leave and tells him, live for yourself, Cesare, not for him, and not for this. Enzo leaves through the mine encampment to make his way back to Isabella. He's battered, he's cut up. Don Teresi definitely broke a few of his ribs, but he knows what he wants, and he's ready to fight for it. He always has been. The structures begin to shake under the motion of the volcano's eruption. The mines are crawling with Teresi mafioso, former family, turning on their estranged brother Enzo. Their numbers increase while the smoke gets denser from the fire and the lava. Enzo coughs and needs cover, so he does what he swore he would never do again, and he seeks refuge in the mines.
Oh, gosh.
Enzo enters the tunnels, but is spotted. He has the advantage of knowing the tunnels really well, though, and begins to navigate through. The only thing on his mind is getting back to Isabella. Enzo runs, and as he does, tunnels begin to collapse from the volcano's eruption. Enzo sees gas leaks, sparking lanterns up in the mines as he goes on. It's super fucking dangerous down here, and he needs to get out as soon as he can.
There's gas down here.
Who would have thought? He's deep when a bullet whizzes past his face, and Don Teresi screams that he won't get away. Don Teresi says, I never should have taken you on. You belong down here in the dirt, while he shoots at Enzo. Enzo finds cover and goes to hide and get through without dying down here. Don Teresi says, Isabella will forget all about you. She's marrying Baron Fontanella, and you're fucking nothing. There's a cat and mouse game of Enzo running and evading gunfire, while Don Teresi and his boys hunt Enzo down. Eventually, Don Teresi catches up to Enzo, punching him in the stomach. Don Teresi puts his hands around Enzo's throat and says, You crawled out of this hell and brought sin upon my family, and now I've brought you back. He kicks Enzo down to the ground and reminds him that he took an oath. He punches Enzo and screams, My fucking daughter. Don Teresi goes to pick up a big-ass rock to finish the job. Enzo sees outlines of gas, grabs the lantern, and throws it at Don Teresi.
Oh, shit.
As the fire hits the gas, the pressure blows rocks from the walls of the tunnel inward, collapsing in on Don Teresi. By the time Enzo looks up, it's all rocks where Don Teresi once stood. It's quiet now, and Enzo stands, barely holding his body together, and trudges out of the mine. He looks out and sees lava pouring from the volcano. The air is thick and hard to see through. He calls for Isabella and keeps going. Bleary and battered, Enzo soldiers on, but turns when he hears Don Teresi yell, Caruso.
How? Seriously.
Don Teresi has come out of the mine from another entry point and tells him, You can't escape what you've done. I won't allow it. Don Teresi pulls out a knife, and Enzo does the same.
Oh, another knife fight. Here we go.
Here, where it all began, Enzo prepares to end it all. Don Teresi fights like a bull, and Enzo is at the end of his rope. Enzo carries on that all he wants is a family with the woman he loves. Don Teresi calls him a snake and a fucking Caruso. He tells Enzo, if you want my daughter, you'll have to fucking kill me. They scrap and Enzo concedes to Don Teresi's terms, stabbing him in the stomach. Don Teresi grits through bloodied teeth as he dies. As he bleeds out, Don Teresi tells Enzo, you could have had it all. Through deep, struggling breaths, Enzo says, I have everything I need.
I was going to say, he's got it all, dude.
Don Teresi tells him one last thing, that Enzo is nothing and he can't change what he is. Enzo stands and looks down at Don Teresi, drenched in blood, dying as a bitter, proud man. Enzo watches Don Teresi take his last breaths until his concentration is broken by Cesare. Cesare calls out to Enzo, offering him a hand. Enzo goes to Cesare quietly and takes his hand. Cesare holds his arms and says, hey man, just you and me. Cesare holds Enzo's face in his hands and says, I'm sorry. Cesare hugs Enzo, holding him close as brothers, and Enzo wraps his arms around Cesare. Exhausted, alone, scared, just like that little boy that crawled out of the mines all those years ago. Cesare stabs Enzo between the ribs into his organs.
This son of a bitch.
He says once again to Enzo, I'm sorry. Enzo falls to his knees, looking up at Cesare as he dies. We see the light leave Enzo's eyes as his blood soaks into the dirt underneath him.
No.
At Villa Teresi, Isabella is crying, locked in a room alone. Tino bursts in and demands she make herself presentable because there's a car coming to take her to the doctor to clear the stain away. Isabella hugs her knees to her chest. Tino goes to leave and she follows, begging him not to do this. She cries and calls him heartless and demands to know why he's doing this. And Tino tells her she dishonored her father and shamed the family. She spits at him as he leaves and locks her in the room again. Isabella angry sobs and then gets her shit together. She stands and shoves a chair under the door so the Teresi boys can't get in and take her. She uses her hairpin to pick the lock to the patio door and leaves the room. From the patio, she works her way through the house undetected, which is hard because of all the guards and the Teresi boys. The volcano's eruption worsens and fireballs begin to rain from the sky, hitting the house and starting fires.
Oh my god.
She hears Tino discover she's escaped, and now everyone's on the lookout for her. She takes the cellar under the home to escape, and one Teresi boy finds her. He tries to grab her and she kicks him. He drops his knife and she picks it up. As he goes again to grab her, she stabs him, begging to be left alone.
Ooh.
She's mortified by her actions, but keeps the knife. Isabella makes it to the courtyard where most of the property is on fire, her home and her family burning in front of her eyes. She makes it to the outside gates to get away, and lo and behold, there's Tino. She takes one look at him and says, "No, no, 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 no." Tino puts her in a headlock and says, "I will teach you to do as you're told."
Jesus.
He wrestles her back towards her burning home, and she gets free and cuts him across the face with her knife.
Good.
Isabella runs for cover behind a crate as her entire world burns to the ground. Tino gets up, vengeful, looking for her. Isabella sneaks around and gets the drop on Tino and stabs him. He falls to his knees and succumbs to his injuries as the world burns around him. Probably foreshadowing for where he's going in the next life. Isabella stands and looks down at Tino, drenched in blood, dying as a bitter, proud man. Isabella saves a horse from the stables and opens the front gates. Everyone is scattered or dead by this point. Tino was the last one stopping her. As she goes to mount, a car pulls up to the gates. Cesare gets out of the driver's seat. Isabella demands to know where Enzo is. Without saying a word, Cesare pulls out the boat ticket. He hands it to Isabella as she breaks into painful sobs. He tells her, "There's nothing for you here now. You need to go." She takes the ticket and gasps for air through her scream sobs. Cesare numbly walks to the fire of the empire he dedicated his life to building. Isabella mounts her horse and cries as she rides away. Days later, Isabella is on a crowded ship. She walks to the edge of the boat against the railing and pulls out the letter that Enzo gave to her before they were taken, the last time she saw him. It says, "My love, we will remember this day for the rest of our lives. It's the day we chose a future for our family. My father left me for dead. Our child will live how they choose. Just knowing that makes everything we've been through worthwhile. I can't undo my past, but you helped me to rise above it. And for that, you have my love, my loyalty, forever." Isabella cries as she looks at his words to her. As she swallows her tears, she looks out and sees Empire Bay in the distance.
Wow.
And that is Mafia, the old country.
Holy shit. I really thought this was like a prequel in the sense that Enzo would be a main character going forward.
He gets fucking Arthur Morganed.
Wow, I did not see that coming at all because I know nothing about like the rest of the series. So yeah, that was a shock to me.
Even with my heavy-handed hints?
No, I mean, yeah, really, I did not see that coming at all.
And this is interesting because this is the first entry where you play as a woman.
So right at that final moments, you're playing as the character.
As Isabella, yeah, which
Okay.
is really kind of neat. But man, you fall so hard in love with Enzo because he's such a sweet boy. He's gone through so much. All he's ever wanted was for literally anyone to give a shit about him.
Yeah.
He finds it and it is the worst thing possible.
Oh my gosh, I really was like expecting this to be like the rise into Dondom, for him, and it just wasn't. Oh my god.
He's the Don killer. He's killed
Yeah.
every Don in the family.
God, that was impressive. That was great. I loved it. Thank you so much.
Oh my god, no, I didn't plan on doing this game.
Yeah.
I really was kind of like, let's kind of check out what Mafia is. If it's fun, I'll do it. I know nothing about the franchise. I had a really great time with it. I enjoyed it. I think I knocked it out in a couple days before I rolled credits.
Well, what was really funny about it was that you were like, ooh, I'm going to check this game out. And then after you finish, you're like, this game came out a week ago.
Yeah. It was on the PlayStation homepage and I was like, yeah, let's check this out. And then I saw the date and was like, I played this right at launch. But that's also why I wanted to open the season with this in case anyone was like, what's going on with that? Like, I got you, baby. Let's go.
Well, if you liked that, make sure that you like the show, you subscribe to the show.
Yes, please.
Next week, we have an episode on Claire Obscure
Ooh la la.
Expedition 33 coming. So make sure you are subscribed. You can go over to our website, theothercastlepodcast.com.
That's theothercastlepodcast.com.
That's where you can find links to our show in all the different formats that we appear in, as well as our Patreon.
On our Patreon, on the $2 a month tier, you get the Other Castle side quest, which is just another episode on either histories, DLC, gaming culture. At the $5 and up tier, there are yappers. You obviously get side quests. You get this show a day early. These come out on Tuesdays for Patreons. And you also get video content to watch Tom talk. I will always have socks or shoes on, no free feet.
exclusive video content where we say stuff like this.
And speaking of here, so how do we make an episode of the show?
It's a lot of hours.
Yeah.
It's a lot of hours.
Honestly, a 10-hour game, probably 30 hours of work.
I'm gonna ask a stupid question. Are there still mines?
Yeah, there's still mines.
What are your biggest video game hot takes?
Sucks.
So in my fucking mental gymnastics, which I've been stretching for years, I am in the universe.
Yeah.
Do a mobile zoo on the side. No, I want a whole movie about her. Fuck the Minecraft world.
And speaking of our Patreon, on our $5 and up tier, we give shoutouts to our patrons, starting with Aaron, Daniel, Ellen, Krisha, Molly,
Trenton, Chase, Jitsu, X of Triforce, Luigi,
Mabel, and JC. Thank you so much. All the other Goombas can be found in the description below. Make sure, like I said, to like us, to subscribe to us so you can keep listening to The Other Castle, because this is just episode 1 of season 11.
We have 9 more episodes coming out over the next 9 weeks. Please come hang out with us. We love you very much.
And this is Tom and Andrea reminding you.
Never go against the family. Was that offensive? Is that fucked up to say? I love The Godfather.
And don't skip the cutscenes. Bye!
You come to me on the day of my daughter's podcast.